Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with James Farley.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And Sean Bell.
Hi.
We'll be kicking off this show by announcing our Patreon producers for this month. They are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Thomas, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, and Dave Ernsberger. Thank you so much for going full Nels. You too can go full Nels by going to patreon.com/TCGS. Several different tiers there, all different benefits. Get down to that website and join the crew. Especially if you want to go full Nels. You fancy a bit of full Nels? It's on offer. It's not. That's wrong, isn't it? That's mis-selling it.
Yeah.
It's always the same.
It is being offered, but it's not on like a special offer.
Right, let me do that again.
No, it's fine.
It's being offered. Why don't you go full Nels? Fancy a cheeky full Nels this month? Well, anyway, you go full Nels. But if you can't go full Nels, there are different tiers. We got the $5 tier. You get a lovely little podcast. The $10 tier. Well, they certainly got their money's worth this month, didn't they?
They did.
We had our In the Quizzing episode 2, which is our YouTube video thing where we all get together and do a little quiz, don't we? I won't spoil the results because more than ever, the results didn't really matter. We had a few issues to deal with on the last episode of In the Quizzing.
You can say that again.
We dealt with them, didn't we?
We did.
We dealt with them. The issue being James Farley cheating on the first episode of In the Quizzing.
I'm still disputing this, but go on. Well, this isn't the forum for that, I'm afraid.
But if you want to see that, you can catch up. I mean, it's free for everyone in a month's time. But if you want to catch up...
Don't tell them that
then...
now.
Well, I know, but if they want to get in early...
Later. Yeah, if you want to go back and watch the first one and you think it's really good, give us a tenner, you can watch the next one right away. How's that sound?
You can watch it straight away, on demand,
yeah,
as they say, and find out what happened with James Farley when we found out he was cheating.
Not cheating.
Shortly after, we also found out he was cheating on episode 2.
I was not.
So, James, you actually were.
I was not.
Both accounts.
I was not.
Yeah, 100% cheat. James Farley. Remember that.
It was a stitch-up. Go on.
Once the episode goes out on YouTube, we will be bringing that up a hell of a lot more. And, James Farley will now be known as a massive cheat. Matt, what sort of feedback did we get from last week's show?
Well, we had loads of feedback, of course, but I'm going to jump straight into the most important being feedback we've received in weeks. Actually, it's about Stadia. Sean,
what?
Yeah,
did we discuss Stadia last week?
No, but this is something we might have discussed a long time ago. Anyway, Sean,
so shouldn't this be in emails?
No, because it's not a question.
Okay. All right.
Like months ago.
If it ends with a question mark, it goes at the latter half of the show.
It feels like...
If it's a statement, it goes at the start. That's how it works.
It feels like if we were talking about it last week, we do it in feedback. If we were... okay, right, let's hear it.
It's not
just,
no, feedback isn't just last week. It's anything in the past. And this is something I asked about months ago.
Okay.
It's true, we did ask about this.
All right.
Yeah, I asked about it.
Let's go.
Sean Holm. Hey guys, firstly, love the podcast. These are the best games podcast out there. Just wanted to wade in months late on the whole Stadia conversation. I don't expect this to be read out on the show, as it's not a very current topic, but Stadia is all right, you know. I haven't had any interaction with it before today, and due to the general hate about it on the internet in general, I was hesitant to trying it. But I had got a new Note 20 Ultra and a Kishi controller in readiness for xCloud on the 15th of September, and to fill the gap, I then decided to try Stadia for a bit. All I can say is, wow, I played Destiny 2, Metro and Grid. They all work perfectly with crystal clear graphics, no lag, and were all super smooth. So I'm a little bit confused about the general bad vibes around Stadia. Has it gotten better since launch and I missed a bad start? Is it just the expectations were so high at launch and so people were disappointed with what it ended up being, as opposed to my experience, which was expecting it to be dog shit and then happily taken by surprise with how good it was? Anyway, keep up the good work and stop picking on James. Well,
what?
I don't know that last bit.
I mean,
this is very simple like this because it is. Because the thing is it's never been in question that Stadia doesn't work. Like, nobody's ever really said that on this podcast anyway. Like, it's like rubbish, technically doesn't work and everything. The biggest problem is what he's actually said in this email. He's played Destiny 2, Metro, and Grid. And it's like, that's the problem. The problem is the games. And the fact that there's not really a compelling reason to play these games on, like, these old games.
Old games. It's not the games, is it? Because the game it's got some great games on it.
But it's the fact that it's not getting new games.
It's the business model.
Yeah,
it's the business model. It's the way it's put together. It's the paying full price for something that you don't actually own. Which, all right, you could argue is the same for everything, for every gaming service. But the fact that you got to pay full price, and especially with Destiny, you're not cross-platform. Is it? It doesn't support cross-platform, does it? With PC and Xbox and all that.
It's cross-save with it now, but it's well, I mean, it's not cross-play with anything, but so apparently
you're only just playing with people, other Stadia users, and because the user base is so
there aren't many of them around.
It's pointless.
Yeah. It's not just that; it's also like
Destiny isn't cross-play anywhere yet. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not cross-play on anything, but
but it's not a problem on the other systems because they've got players.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Because initially the Stadia version wasn't cross-save either, was it? But it is now, at least. So that's something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go on, James.
But no, it's not even the business model of getting people to pay like 40 or 50 quid for a game. It's just that if you're going to do that, you have to give people good reasons to spend that money. And so far, they haven't got any like exclusive games or whatever that would make you think it's worth spending that amount of money. And I mean, as you said also, if they're not going to do that, then they need to have a different business model, which is maybe similar to Game Pass or something like that, where that people are going to subscribe to a service in that way. So it's not the technical side. The technical side's not a problem. It's the games is the issue.
Yep. Okay, I would say the business model more than games. Okay,
I know we spoke about Stadia in the past. So I think I messaged James the other day, saying, I don't know if it can come back. Unless it's like a
the
fundamental
stink around it now is just
unless it's a fundamental change. I mean, it'd be better if they just went away and came back with something that's potentially a bit more compelling in a few years. But I can't see there can't be that many people using it really in the grand scheme of things. I don't think.
Well, that was the joke, wasn't it, about Bomberman? It was like there was a 64-player Bomberman game came out for it, and people were like, are there enough players to play at the same time?
I think that the major mistakes that they made is I see it as two major mistakes. The first, there not being a subscription service that includes a bunch of games. Yep. The second, it being Linux based.
Yeah,
so that you're not playing with other PC players is I think they're the two major missteps.
Even it's different now though. If it had been like, look, every game you get 20-minute demo. And then they could have done, the initial pitch was like, you could be watching a game on YouTube and there'll just be a play it now button. And you just click that and you're in. It's like, but that doesn't work if you then go 50 quid, mate. Like if they wanted that 100%. To work as like a gateway, then make it so that if I'm watching... Go on, sorry.
I mean, just to defend it, but the free version's out now, isn't it? So surely that could be the case, right?
Well, no, because you still have to buy the game. You still have to pay for the game.
It's just a service you don't pay for, isn't it? Yeah, you're exactly right. And in terms of the library, Dave, I mean, like there is a library now. Obviously, it's not what we expected, but now it's been going for a few months. There is, I don't know how many games, but there is like a fair few games which are being part of Stadia Pro. And if you're a Pro member, you get them. But if you're a 1080p member, you get nothing.
But
and what is that compared to the competition?
Well, exactly, because the library is similar to like a PlayStation Plus library in that, you can get a couple of games like over the year. Well, more than a couple, but you get a load of games. But there's not like a catalogue there of like 100 plus games that you can just think, I want to try that.
Well, because did everyone else get that £10 voucher a few months back to spend on Stadia stuff? Did you spend it?
I didn't know.
I mean, I struggled. I ended up buying Rage 2, which I can play on Game Pass anyway. But I just thought it'd be, do you know what? For basically free, I'll try that. And it was okay, but as usual, no. I mean, that was the other thing because they added an on-screen controller for the phone as well, which is as good as you could reasonably expect it to be. But of course, none of the games are designed to work with it. So,
here's a question. During the Gamescom stuff, or whenever they've shown trailers for games and stuff, how often do you see the Stadia logo, like saying that it's on that platform? Because I don't remember seeing that very much.
Or do you think you'd just sort of filter it out? It's like the PhysX logo. You just don't even see it anymore. Yeah. It's just like, whatever.
It could be that. But yeah, and I just think, you think of all the trailers that we're probably going to talk about in a bit. Like, how many of them said, like, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo
and
Switch.
Stadia, yeah.
Where's Stadia? It's not on that list. And that's...
How long do you reckon it'll last?
I don't know. I mean, to me, at the moment, it feels like it's kind of an irrelevance. Like, it's like, it doesn't seem to be anything at all anymore.
I mean, how long do you reckon it'll last?
I don't think they'll get rid of it. I think it'll still be... I mean, maybe they'll retire it eventually.
They've binned loads of other stuff, but then I suppose usually not things that actually cost money for the consumer, whereas people have actually put money into this.
But, I mean, is it going to be... Sorry, Matt, go on.
No, you go on.
I was going to say, is this going to be Google Plus, as in they're going to just keep trying to do it for years and years and years and no one cares? Or is it going to be something like, I don't know, Google Reader or whatever that they just bin off and, straight away?
God knows.
Maybe.
So that's what I'm
I can just
asking
imagine in like the board meeting where they're like, we can't just get rid of it. Like people have been spending money on this. And one guy puts his hands up.
We paid Phil Harrison.
Someone puts their hands up and like, I've actually run the numbers. If we were to refund every customer who's purchased something on Google Stadia, it cost us about £300. So we're good.
Thing is, I don't know what they could do to suddenly turn things around. If they said, okay, we've listened to your feedback and we've changed it, it's now a subscription service, there's, as many games as, say, Game Pass or whatever, 100, 200 games, you pay like a 10 quid a month subscription, would that suddenly turn it around and say, actually, Stadia's awesome?
Be a start. I think that's probably what they need to do. And fucking hell, it's Google. They can afford it. Like, I'm not going to feel bad for them.
Yeah. they also need to do it as soon as possible because the longer they wait, the more alternative services are coming out. You've got xCloud on the way. You've got others.
PlayStation will do one because PlayStation are using obviously Microsoft's technology, so there will be a PlayStation equivalent. No doubt.
I mean, there's definitely going to be like EA as well. Will do one, and Ubisoft
they've already said they're working on one, aren't they?
And Ubisoft threatening one as well.
Yeah.
And
they all want their own. You've got a feel for like the studios that the Stadia will seem like they're basically started on day 2 after launch. You've got a feel for the people there. Like they're like, God, there's even going to be a Stadia in a year's time, and we're like killing ourselves to get games and create games for these like Google studios. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with it. Anyway, all right, that's Stadia. Last week, James threw his toys out the pram and complained about the form. Actually, maybe that's a week after when I wasn't there. I said, all right, James, okay, right, no form, you do the emails. Kurt Lewin, I see that form is still up for questions after James said he would handle all the emails last week. So, James, I think in a week you text us saying, keep the form.
I did, yeah.
So what's happened?
Well, I did that because the trouble is if you send emails to the show through... What is it through the contact form on the website or whatever? Yeah. How many ways are there to contact this show? Just out of curiosity.
Well, there's a contact form on the site, there's the email address, and then there's like the Google Doc.
Right.
And tweets.
And tweets.
Yeah. And tweets.
Well,
okay.
And also Facebook and Instagram, really.
Right. Or just DM us individually on Twitter. That's always... People do that, don't they?
Yeah, that's happened.
But no, one of them, though, if you send it to that, you see, I get the mail to that account forwarded to my own email address.
Why do you do that? That's the most irritating thing.
I do find that really odd. We should also point out that the reason this came up in our WhatsApp group chat is because we all got a security alert saying we were being hacked by James Farley.
Because I was trying to log in to see what it was. Because for some reason, if anything is sent in through the contact form on the website, it doesn't send the whole thing. It just sends a couple of lines. I don't know why. Anything else is absolutely fine. Everything else is totally fine, but not that. And so the upshot being just use the form. It's easier.
Or just set up the Computer Game Show email address on your phone.
Because I don't want a million emails coming into my phone every 5 seconds.
Turn the notification off.
We all manage it. 9 times out of 10, if a PR email comes up and none of us are interested, well, like one of us will just delete it before you even see it anyway.
No, because the thing is, right, look, we've had this conversation already, and Matt, you'll agree with this. You're an Inbox Zero person, yeah, as well?
Yeah.
See, that's how I operate with things, and I use like just the default email client. If I set up the Computer Game Show one on there, it's never going to be inbox 0. There's always going to be stuff in my inbox, and that annoys me.
No, James. Okay, I mean, this shouldn't really turn into like a how to manage your inbox thing, but I've also got the show email on my phone, and I just go into that, have a little look around, and that's it. I have like my personal one in a different app. And anyway, it's just fucking boring.
Yeah, surely sending everything to your personal email is making life hell for you.
Yeah, make it even worse.
No, because then
I'm winding me up, because every now and then you get an email come through and you stop what you're doing, you look at the email and this has been blocked by JCA.
What's worse than that? What's worse, that or it's another update to World of Warships?
It's a flip of a coin.
Great concept. James has realised the form was the right idea, and we're going straight. Next question.
Didn't handle the emails though, did he?
Because we said that we were going to discuss that after the show, Sean, and we never did.
Yeah,
so you're not.
No, we did.
Yeah, he didn't do
it. You're not pitting that on.
You could have volunteered. We didn't have to discuss it. You could have volunteered.
Shock him. Yeah, this is it. James never does anything off his own bat, does he? Fucking hell.
Next question's also relevant. Gabby Peartree, how is Farley's probation going in your opinion?
Well, let's see. He cheated in 2 quiz shows. He didn't turn up for a week. He complained about the form, said he didn't want to use it anymore, then said that he did want to use it. He forwards all his emails to his personal account, which leads to bounce backs to everyone else's.
Okay, I'll turn that off now, shall I?
I mean, to be fair, that's probably also a GDPR issue, to be honest, James.
Yeah. He also set off a security alert, which sent everyone wild in the
I thought we were being hacked.
Took him about 10 minutes to be like, oh, yeah, sorry, that was me.
Look, I've not got it in him to sack him. I've not got it in me to sack him. I've just not got it in me. You know, he's an old mate. He's like, you know, the guy in the office that everyone knows is lucky to be there because he's mates with the boss. And, you know, so he's not getting fired. But if we were really going through a probation period, Jesus Christ, it was probably the worst probation period that's ever been recorded ever. It's unbelievable that he's
gone downhill, really. I mean, you've been mostly fine the last few years, but it's just since probation's got inside your head. And now
Sean, do you remember how much effort you put into the quizzing both times? Could you imagine someone just selfishly ruining every bit of work that you've done by cheating? Like, I can't. It's
in a way, it actually created a lot more work for me this month.
Yeah,
it certainly did.
This is absurd.
It certainly did.
I think the next tweet is also relevant to probation.
Anyway, hang on, wait a minute. I've disabled forwarding. Okay, I'm not so.
Cheers.
Whatever.
Why are you saying that aggressively? Thank you. This is what you should be doing.
You could have brought this up off air. Like, you didn't tell me that this was causing you problems as well.
No, I thought the massive Google security alert would have been a good enough clue, James.
How is that? That's nothing to do with this at all.
Okay, it's got nothing to do with the way that you handle email.
No.
James, you need to go on an email
directly
course.
Related to. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, the next one is related. Jaffa Cakes. Dr. Farley also tricked me into signing up to PlayStation. It says PlayStation Plus, he means PlayStation Now. No Spider-Man, no indie games, worst Doctor since Shipman. Love the show.
Jesus Christ, that's a bit strong.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Next one,
yeah, it is
Ben Naylor. Is James going to do the can face paw challenge?
No.
Why not?
What?
What do you mean, what? You all having a
said
go
you were
at me.
going to do it.
No, you're all having a go at me. I'm not doing anything now. Screw the lot of it.
Here we go.
Matt.
Well.
Just don't send him the Patreon money.
Done.
Seriously, that's the point we're at now. Don't send him the Patreon money. Don't send him his cut. Don't send it to anyone else, but just hold it back. Let's see how that goes. I'm not doing nothing now. Well, you're not doing nothing now. Let's see how you get on for this month.
Imagine you said that to your employer. No, I'm not doing nothing now. Like, well, that's not how it works. It's not how it works.
Probation meeting. Like,
see, the thing is, right?
So fuck off.
The thing is, I would have done that on the last stream, but I couldn't because of the stream setup I had on Saturday. It was impossible to do that, so I couldn't.
So you're going to do it on your next stream?
I might. Well, no. Well, I'll do it on the next stream that I've got where the camera is facing me.
Who knows when that's going to be? It's just going to drag out the Nomad Soul for months now.
He's like, I'm going to 100% this game.
No, it's really good, actually. I really like it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this other game that I'm playing, I can't do that on the normal setup. So let me just set up the VCR again and play it.
Stream on the Switch now. Anyway, SNW. quoting James. I'm sorry, James.
We should probably can we move on? I feel like we've.
I mean, we've had how many emails has this been now? It's been about 5 or 6. I don't know. I don't know why
we don't control the listeners, mate.
Yeah.
We don't.
No, we do control what we read out, though.
That's a good point. Matt, have you got it in for James this week? Is that it?
I just had to. I mean, it'll be remiss of me to not include the stuff because someone will say, "Well, anyway, we'll move on." I'm sorry, James.
Simon, did we show a bit of heart there, boys? Is that what happened?
Trying to, yeah.
This show's gone to the dogs.
It really has. God.
Feels like
it's really good until they started being nice to that one guy.
God.
Until they stopped bullying him.
Right, okay. We talked about crisps and sandwiches. Fucking hell, Mel shouldn't be talking about this. MF Nick, when I order bacon sarnie and I ask if I want butter on it, and I have to double check whether they mean the bread or the bacon.
Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Kurt Lewin, Sean's crisp sandwich joke, which he said twice, didn't get a recognition it deserved.
What was your
I don't remember either one.
Well, this is the thing. I don't remember this. And while I understand that Kurt is being supportive, I read that and just thought, oh, God, did I just tell a shit joke twice? To no reaction.
No, see, my instant reaction is, did Kurt hear a joke where there wasn't one twice?
Maybe. Just me trying to make a serious point and no one was listening.
Salt and vinegar. Woo! Salt and vinegar. Forget it. Simon Meredith actually just pointed at David's "oh boy" comment was completely ignored by the rest when Sean mentioned Quantum Leap. I mean, I
can only apologise. I just didn't hear it. I think if I had, I'd have enjoyed that a lot.
No need to apologise. There is nothing clever about hearing the words "quantum leap" and saying "oh boy" at all. I was quite ashamed of myself for doing that, to be honest with you. But
no, I just of everyone here, I would not have expected you to come out with that. I'd have, yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. Just wouldn't have thought you'd be a Quantum Leap guy.
Well, if you'd listen to Star Calls, the popular hit Star Wars podcast, you would notice that I was quite a fan of the old Sam Beckett. That was his name, wasn't it?
It was.
Yep. Ziggy. Oh. Ow. Okay, go on.
Was that Tiger? Okay. Lee Griggs.
That was Ziggy with it.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Lee Griggs.
Whoa, what?
You've not seen
Quantum Leap? I mean, I know of it. I haven't seen it, no.
Oh my God, that's the new show, guys.
Quantum Calls.
I think, right, okay, here's a question about Quantum Leap.
It's not aged very well in...
I've got a feeling it's very problematic.
I can think of a couple of episodes right off the bat.
Okay, forget it. Lee Griggs.
Yeah.
I, for one, and wholeheartedly back Dr. Farley's complaints towards the Xbox dashboard. Whenever I use it, I feel like I'm using Internet Explorer. Slow, inefficient, buggy, and full of obscure errors. And this is with an Xbox One X. I mean, I think send it back.
Yeah, it's not how it should be running.
Maybe you could be on the Insider program, which also isn't.
I had to come off of that.
Yeah, me too.
Where they kept giving you the preview dashboards and stuff, and it was just like, what?
Yeah.
It just
I wanted to be there to see things first, but it was like too much. I was like, okay, my machine's getting effed up.
I do, and I know this happened to James this week or last. I do enjoy that error message that's just like, the game took too long to load for some reason.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the absolute worst. When it says that, when it goes, we're preparing your game. This may take a couple of minutes. What?
No, it's better not to.
What? No, I mean, it's fair to say that there are improvements to be made, but I certainly wouldn't say it's that bad. Especially for getting on into online games and pies and stuff. I think it's. I like how quickly it does all that stuff. So
the only other thing, and this is the same on the Windows Store as well, when you're looking at something and the button just says "get,"
yeah,
and you're like, what?
But it does on the Epic Game Store though. That says "get."
That's true. Yeah. Just get it.
Also, I hate the store, but they're updating that.
Yeah. The store is like, will be live on Xbox One soon, I think.
Because my word, when you load into something that you want to buy in a store, the last thing you want is to see the trailer in full screen, and that loads, and then you've got to press down and then get to the information. And it's like, that store needs to.
The new store does look great, and thankfully it's not just one. It's not just Series X that's coming to all Xbox Ones, the whole Xbox family, and nice. As is the new OS whenever that drops. Dangleberries. Surprised Matt didn't call out Tetsuya Michiguchi, being as he did Sega Rally, Manx TT Superbike, went on to do Rez, Space Channel 5, Lumines, and Tetris Effect, among others. That's obviously talking about the gaming legends. Bernard had a similar feedback. I'm not sure if this is feedback or a question, but I was surprised that none of you, particularly Matt, given his professed love of all things Sega, mentioned Yu Suzuki in your discussion about video game legends. Suzuki directed or produced, to name but a few, Sega classics: Hang On, Super Hang On, Enduro Racer, Outrun 2, Afterburner, Daytona, Virtua Fighter, Virtua Cop, and the Shenmue series. A genuine pioneer whose legacy is every bit the equal of Miyamoto. My question is, as a huge fan of all things Sega, has Matt played any Sega games apart from Sega Rally? I mean, yes. All right, so
Which ones?
Let's move on.
If you have been listening to the show, and you will know how much Matt says that he loves Sega and stuff, you would have also picked up on the fact that Matt doesn't know Sega. I doubt he even owned anything that Sega bought out at any point.
You could say you love something without knowing every part of it.
No, I know, but why don't you just say, I love Sega Rally? Like that's all you need to say. You don't have to say I love Sega.
Saturn. I love steep slope sliders. I love
I like you like your steep slope sliders.
That was a great snowboarding game. It was brilliant.
Hi, I'm the world's biggest
steep slope
Sega fan. Are you really? Yeah. What were your favourite games? Steep slope sliders.
Burning Rangers. That's good. Shining Force Parts 1 and Shining Force 3
I want to
Parts 1
see Matt go on to Mastermind with his specialist subject, Sega, and then turn around halfway through the quiz and go, excuse me, have you got any questions on Sega Rally or Steep Slope Sliders, please? Because other than that, I'm fucked.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Your relationship with Sega is bizarre, but it's similar to your relationship with Kojima, right? Because, you're a massive Kojima fan. You've played 2 of his games, is it?
No, I've played loads of his games.
Have you, though? I mean,
well, yes.
Have you?
I played. Okay. I mean, I haven't finished all of them, but I've certainly played all the Metal Gear Solid games. The Metal Gear Solid games. Yeah, just get it right. On PS1.
Death Stranding. You were very excited about that, and you got about halfway through, and a podcast put you off it.
I mean, lots of people had the same experience with that.
Okay, lots of kind of funny listeners get the same experience with that. Go on.
Fucking hell, right. James, if this security alert we've got now is you...
That was me, setting...
I was looking at how the hackers actually got in this time.
I was just setting it up on my phone so then you won't moan about it.
Do you know that's the universe? That's the universe. It heard us all talking tonight, and it said... Oh my God, they pulled back. They put the brakes on when coming to having a pop at James. They calmed down a bit. Right. Let's go for it. Security alert.
Just to end this is Bernard still. Is this the inbox James said he was going to sort out, or is that just the emails? Either way, I'd like him to know I appreciate all the incredibly hard work he obviously puts into the pod, week upon week, particularly the news, which I find completely indispensable.
I wasn't sure if that was sarcastic or not.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure either.
You can make your own mind up, I think.
No, that's not sarcasm, is it? I thought
it was sarcasm, and then you mentioned but particularly the news. It's like, well, yeah, James does put quite a lot of work into that. So
yeah, so that was a nice positive lead in to James's news section.
How's that feel, James? When you get a bit of positive feedback, how's that feel for you?
Well, as I said, I'm never sure if it's genuine or not, or whether it's sarcasm.
All right, say you get some genuine, nice feedback. How's that go down in your head? Because I imagine it annoys you in some way. Like there's something about it that's pissed you off, right?
No, it really doesn't, actually. I feel that has cheered me up quite a lot, honestly, if that's genuine.
Is it? Okay. If that's genuine.
Yeah, it seems genuine. I mean, thank you, Bernard, for cheering up James. Yeah, that seems genuine to me. And that's it for feedback. If you want to leave us feedback, leave it at tcgs.co/deartcgs.
Or just, smoke signals, whatever.
Or you can tweet us, or use a form, or send me a DM, or just
show up at my house.
That.
That's a genuine invite. People can take that down.
Don't do that.
Yeah, please don't.
Okay. James, you got a time. It's your time to redeem yourself.
You've got time.
It's your time. That's the episode title.
That's a long title, but you have got time, and it is your time.
God.
Okay, so we had Gamescom last week. Is it still going on at the moment? Is it still an ongoing concern?
I think it might have ended yesterday or today. Obviously, there's still loads of Gamescom news. I'm not sure how long it lasts. The digital
well,
Can I get this bit out of the way before you go into this proper, right?
Sure.
I really, really, really seriously hope that E3 comes back with a bang, because
me too.
I am so done with this.
Yeah.
You know, like last year we were going, oh, maybe they don't need it, and why do we need E3? You know, blah blah blah. It costs them all this money. Well, what I think, certainly as a consumer, we've realised that we do need that. We need that intense week of information, because spreading it out like this does not work. And then when Jeff Keighley gets involved and turns half an hour's worth of announcement into a 2-hour show, it's no more now. No more. Let's get back to E3, the 3 main companies putting stuff out in that one weekend. Let's get it done, because I can't deal with this. I cannot deal with this.
Well,
I didn't actually get to watch Gamescom, but I believe it's billed as like the Summer Games Fest finale, wasn't it?
I don't know. I mean, this opening night live proved that Keighley is not needed. I thought. Like, it's
What do you mean? What are you doing? What are you saying?
Exactly like you just said, David. It was like half an hour worth of trailers or whatever, like spread over 2 hours. Completely pointless. Like, what was the point of that?
Well, this is it. We've been slagging off, various different companies for just showing trailers and that's it. But when you go back to this sort of style, where it is just babble, 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 and then, hype and coming up, we've got Fall Guys. They said that 8 times. I'm sure they said that 8 times. And I was just like, oh my God, what is this? Some sort of like reality TV show in America. Like, this is insane. The most fun I had in the opening night show was discussing Sean various different ways, like the nicest, funniest ways that Jeff Keighley could get involved in some sort of scandal. He's just coming up with ideas of what that might look like.
Probably don't repeat those now.
No, one of them was okay, that he thought he was in an internet relationship with Angelina Jolie, and he found out it was 4chan, and they posted all the emails that went back and forth, something like that. Well, that would be quite good. I'd read that. I'd read all those posts.
I don't like us slagging off Jeff Keighley, actually.
I don't mind him. Like, I don't mind him.
It's just so everyone's it's like slagged him off. Just so it's just like an easy, low-hanging fruit to slag off. I mean,
look, he seems like a nice guy, but that show was awful, wasn't it?
Exactly, that's the point. It's like, I'm sure he is a nice person or whatever, but it's just those shows, they're not great, are they? Let's be honest.
It was the fucking awards that got me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was so weird.
They'd just be like, the best PlayStation 4 game is Cyberpunk. What?
Awards out stuff that wasn't even out.
I read about an amazing one today, right? That apparently, okay, so I just say I didn't actually watch the Gamescom opening night live. I was meant to we were meant to do a talk over. I was meant to do that, but then Virgin went down again. So unfortunately, I didn't see it, and I haven't gone back to it. I listened to things about it, but I didn't actually watch it. But what I read today was there was an award apparently for most wanted tech, right?
Right.
The Xbox Series X won it.
Okay.
Good.
Right. I mean, lots of people are excited about it.
Most wanted tech.
No. But here's the other nominees. It was the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Cloud gaming with Game Pass. Right, and the other one, the third nominee is the Intellivision Amico.
Okay.
Fuck off.
I thought you were going to say
the 3.
I thought you were going to say the Xbox Series S, and it turned out the award was sponsored by Microsoft.
But yeah, that's the award for most wanted tech. The Intellivision, the cloud game with Game Pass, and the series. Where's the PS5? Where's
I said to you guys on the day,
sorry, go on.
I said to you guys on the night, I really wish we could next week just do the Game of the Year show and Cyberpunk wins it. It just feels like it was bizarre, wasn't it? It was really odd to put those little bits in there. What?
Yeah.
Was there an explanation of it? Or
not that I saw.
So it says here, according to the video, the voting for this award was opened up to you, the gamers, and early adopters, and prospective consumers, and it took place on the event's official website. But
in terms of most wanted tech, do you not think we could dream a bit bigger, like a reversal for climate change or something?
Yeah.
Not
right.
No, something is actually going to happen, Sean. So unfortunately, I didn't actually see it, but I've heard of it. I heard about it. I mean, it also feels like, it's Jeff Keighley. He's doing the Game Awards thing. This is probably like, obviously he's done Gamescom before, and obviously this year, loads of shit's happened. So it's obviously promised. And I presume we wouldn't want to pull out of it, and it's just like trying to get trailers from anywhere. I think someone said something about a game was shown off, and the developer said, "Yeah, Jeff came to us and said, oh, can you get us a trailer? Can you work on a trailer?" So there wasn't even an announcement or something. It's just like, Jeff, like, get me anything. I like your game. Just show me 30 seconds of anything.
And it's felt like there's been a lot of that. Like, like we've said, there's been so many different conferences and stuff, and the hit ratio has not been amazing on any of them, which, as Dave suggests that actually we're better off just with a more condensed thing. And go on, sorry.
No, I mean, we are obviously all massively into games, and we couldn't keep up. And
we're so addicted to games.
We couldn't keep up. We didn't know when it's happening. If we're not the ones that are like, hey, this happened then, like, who else is going to bother?
Exactly. It just feels like it's been like 2 to 3 months of constantly either missing things that I probably would have liked, or the ones that I have watched. As I say, there's about 20% of the games I'm really keen on, and the rest I'm like, all right, it's some medieval strategy thing now.
It also wasn't clear what was actually part of Game Fest, like, because obviously Jeff Keighley did pre-show talks for like the PlayStation event and maybe like the Xbox event, but they weren't officially like summer Game Fest events. They were just happening in the summer. And
look, ultimately it doesn't come down to what we think. It comes down to what these big, what Microsoft, Sony and Nintendo think. And do you think that they've noticed that it's been shit? Do you think they care?
No,
that's the question.
I mean, Nintendo
they care.
Don't.
No, I mean, this has all been going on. Like, I mean, Microsoft have been kind of engaged, haven't they, with all this stuff? But Sony haven't really. They just did their own thing. They did one event, that was it. Nintendo have done nothing. Like, pretty much, they don't care. It's just, it's been...
Jeff Keighley did say today that actually it got 4 times the number of viewers as it did like last year.
Jesus.
That's because everyone's at home. It's like...
Well, yes.
It's true.
But then also the other thing, like you're saying, go back to E3 and everything. Hasn't like Jeff Keighley just, like he said, didn't he? He wasn't going to have anything to do with E3 anymore.
No, I wasn't saying Jeff go back to E3.
Jeff go back.
I'm saying
we need E3.
Let's go back to... Please, we need E3.
Yeah, we need
E3.
But, like, it'll be interesting to see how many of these different spread out ones persist once E3 is back. Because on the one hand, I think a lot of them have obviously given a platform to games that might not have otherwise had one during E3. And ultimately, in the case of a lot of the smaller ones, there was the Wholesome Games one. There was the Future did their own, and there was like loads of different ones. They probably don't cost a massive amount to do, right? It's just basically stitching together some trailers and interviews, and then just running a stream for half an hour. I'm not saying that's easy, but it's not a stage show, is it?
No.
So they can those can probably just tick over anyway. But whereas someone like Jeff Keighley, who is doing like a, even though it was like a virtual stage, there was a lot more production involved there. So that's really got to be worth doing even once E3 is back. Whereas the smaller ones kind of, even if, their viewer numbers drop once E3 is back, it's not going to kill them. Whereas Keighley needs his to make some money, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, this would have happened anyway, because Gamescom always happens. I mean, so like, regardless of whether E3 is there or not, this will still be happening because it's a Gamescom thing. And other people suggesting actually just probably for more of a...
want to do this again next year once the physical event is fully back on the cards? Like,
I shouldn't think so, because the whole point with that is it's the way for people to meet each other, obviously, but then also it's a way to make a lot of money through people going there and spending cash, isn't it? Which they can't do through something like this.
I should also give it a quick shout out to the Indie Arena booth.
I saw some people playing in inverted commas playing this. Yeah, it seems really cool.
It's really nice idea. Initially, when I first heard the pitch, I was like, it sounds like a pain in the arse. I don't really know why I'd bother. But it was weirdly nice. So it's basically just a little sort of web-based thing where you create a little avatar and you're actually walking around this sort of virtual like Indie Games Expo, and there's like different booths for different games and stuff, and they're all kind of done up in different ways, and and obviously it's all virtual, so that like in this virtual booth there might be a big screen showing a trailer, so you click it and then it just pans down and then opens like a YouTube video with the trailer, or if there's a demo it opens up a Steam link to download the demo, or sometimes they have like merch stalls and stuff and they'll take you to a website. And it was, like I say, so having that described to me, I was like, I don't really get it, but actually having a go was a really nice experience and a nice way to spend like an hour or so just like grabbing loads of demos and stuff. So that was cool. It did make me realize like how much, because obviously that was recreating like the Gamescom stroke PAX experience, and it did make me realize like that like EGX does sort of, I don't know, still not quite there in terms of, I don't know, it's like you're going around all these booths and it's like just constantly like cool shit everywhere and all different floors and stuff, and like all just cool, interesting shit going on, whereas EGX is still a bit like it's a big aircraft hangar, and I don't know, hard to explain.
But isn't that the case with most game expos?
Probably. I don't know. Maybe it's just because this was like an entirely indie focused thing. Maybe I just misread. Maybe that's what I'm saying. More than I miss EGX. I don't know.
But yeah, definitely miss E3. Although this is just Gamescom. I mean, and hopefully that will return in some form, and it'll be a little bit better organised next year.
Yeah. Okay, fine. But anyway, let's talk about what they did announce.
Yeah. Do you want to see? Okay, so I'll go through what they had. They started off
not
with
everything.
Okay, well, I'll go through the games and you can just talk about it if you want to. So there was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. They showed that to start with, which had already been revealed the day before, I think.
Yep.
Is anyone else? Yeah. I don't know if maybe I'm just old. I've just fully lost track with Call of Duty now.
Nah, the last one was a big comeback game. Okay. So many people said it was fantastic, like the multiplayer especially. They really rate it. So I think going to Black Ops, another known sort of, what do you call it, subtitle that people know very well, I think is a good shout. We'll see if they build on the success of the latest Modern Warfare. But no, I've heard nothing but good things about Modern Warfare.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been playing that over this weekend, and it's
so have I. But the campaign, it's not really what the driving force those games
but
is.
Warzone, Warzone's been good because I mean I've been playing Warzone for
highly
weeks,
rated as well,
and it's pretty good. Anyway, so that's got. I mean, apparently Black Ops has also got like branching narratives and stuff within the mission and things like that, which. That sounds different, so
it's
maybe
about time, isn't it? Really, Jesus, those games they've been going for God knows how long, and this is the first time they're trying branching narratives. Do you remember the one where they said just select a level? Like that was weird. Just select any level you want and play it. Like you don't have to. Oh, great, the story's going to be cracking then.
Okay. Then there was Unknown 9 Awakening, which is from Reflector Studios.
Speed this up now.
Okay.
Push it forward.
I thought it looked all right. Then there was Bridge Constructor, The Walking Dead. I mean, yeah. Doom Eternal has got the Ancient Gods Part 1 DLC. That's coming on the 20th of October. Then BioWare showed Dragon Age 4.
Well, are you up for this, aren't you, Sean?
Did they show concept art? What did they show exactly?
But it's equal parts like just wanting a good new Dragon Age game, and also if BioWare don't nail this, they are fucked. So
when BioWare came up, I was like, it's Anthem. It's got to be Anthem. They're doing the big relaunch. It's happening. It wasn't. It was Dragon Age 4. I mean, they just showed some locations and characters and stuff like that. But
did look very pretty though, didn't it?
Yep. Then we had World of Warcraft Shadowlands.
Oh, it went on for a while, didn't it? Am I the only one who watched this?
I didn't watch it.
Fair enough. It was a very long... I mean, calling it an animated trailer is... It was a series of images that occasionally, like, a character would sort of move. Calling it animated is a stretch. But it was very long. And, I mean, if you like World of Warcraft, it was probably really good. But it was all like contextless nonsense to me. But
see, I suppose World of Warcraft is like to me like Call of Duty is to you, because I've got no idea what state that thing's in. Absolutely no idea. I mean, I'm assuming it's still massively popular, but nowhere near the numbers they were getting.
I know people who still play it, which is mad to me. But
Yep. Okay.
Then we had Little Nightmares 2, and they had like a gameplay trailer, which, I mean, this is interesting me because I really liked the first game, and so
This has
I
got
never
co-op,
played
isn't
it. Was it that good?
it was good. I really liked it.
How's it compared to other sort of similar? Because I mean, it reminded me of like Limbo and stuff like that. Is that?
It's very similar to that kind of thing, but yeah, with a very nice sort of art style and very good atmosphere. I really liked it. Yeah. I thought it was great.
Okay, cool.
You can get it on Switch, I think, or it's probably on Game Pass, like for really cheap or whatever. You know,
Look at how angry he is when
Not
he says
on
that
PS now, probably.
Then we had Destiny 2, and they showed off like the ice stuff for the Beyond Light thing. I mean, I thought this was a great trailer. I mean, this is the kind of thing, like, you saw that, and then I thought about Halo Infinite, and I just thought, there's a big difference here, like a big gap, like in the quality of what they're showing here. It was incredible.
A bunch have always been able to nail their trailers, and this is one of the few things I did see. And yeah, look, I mean, it's gonna be good. It's Destiny.
Mm-hmm. Then we had Star Wars Squadrons, where they did like a mission introduction and like
I haven't seen this. What does this look like?
Well, this was it was very short. It's only just a trailer to sort of explain sort of the story mode and how, you know, you're fighting for the New Republic, you know, following the end of the Death Star, and it's just
they're
like
forcing you to play the story mode before you get anywhere near the multiplayer, right?
Is that so? I think
know that. I'm sure they said that.
That's what they said. Yeah, in the initial announcement, they said, you'll need to do this and that before you can qualify to play online.
But
that's
I'm
probably
very
just
excited.
Basic training.
I'm very excited by the idea of it being complicated enough that that's a good idea.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see how long it takes for them to drop it, because they will drop it.
Like,
they will drop that out 100%. You know, there'll be situations where people are buying it for a second system or whatever.
True, yeah,
and it would just be
point.
like, I ain't going through the full story again just to get to where I was.
Yeah. Because I know it sounds very gatekeepy to be like, oh no, you've got to do it fucking properly, or you shouldn't be playing it all. But it's just, like, the reason you don't see many space combat games is that the actual, like, you know, flying around, there's other ships, there's little, you know, you're just basically chasing icons on the edge of your HUD the entire time. Like, that stuff in and of itself is not interesting. Like, it needs other layers and other interesting things around that actual, you know, that dogfighting stuff. So yeah, for that reason, I'm cool with it maybe being a bit more dense. So we'll see.
That is exactly why. I mean, X-Wing and TIE Fighter are like two of my favourite games of all time, because it made you feel like you were sitting in like this powerful like piece of machinery that was a bit complicated. Like you had to figure out how to use it, and that's why I'm really excited for this. Honestly, this is probably, I'd say I'm more excited for this than almost anything else that's coming out for the rest of this year. Maybe not more than Cyberpunk, but definitely this. This looks brilliant, especially with like being able to play it in VR as well. I'm very up for that.
Yeah.
It's out in September, isn't it?
No, it's October.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Yeah. But, pretty soon. Then we had a thing called Journey to Batuu, which is a Star Wars pack for The Sims.
Have you seen people going apeshit about this as well? Apparently loads of Sims, like, obviously there's quite a few Sims fans who just don't particularly care for Star Wars and see this as quite an incongruous addition to their favourite game, which I get, but also this has been the Sims thing for a while now, hasn't it, right? That basically there's fucking millions of expansions and you just choose what you want to add or not. Like, it's really not, it's not like this is a new expansion, you must get it to keep, you know, it's not Destiny. Like, like you...
I'd love to know if there are any Sims fans out there, so Sims players out there listening to this, I'd love to know, like, what makes a good expansion. Like, what is one that sticks out more than ever? What's the Taken King? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean.
I don't think any of them have been... I don't think there's been any sort of, like, major shift to how it works. I think they're all just, like, little additions that give it, like, a slightly different flavour if it's something you're into. You know, I've said, because obviously the base game was on PS Plus a while back, and I was looking at it, it's like, I might buy the Tiny Living pack for £8. And that's the only one I'm interested in. And good, because I can just buy that.
Tiny Living pack?
It's basically, you know, this trend for like people living in shipping containers and shit, and it's like cramming as much as you can into like a small space. Get on YouTube and watch.
I love the fact that that's your dream life.
I just find it interesting. There's this YouTube channel. It's called like Living Big in a Tiny House, and it's just videos of people's weird little houses, and it's just like. I mean, you know, once you've seen like the 10th one where they're like, oh, and there's drawers in the stairs, that's great. And you're like, yeah, everyone does that. No, I get it. but it's for a bit. It's quite interesting.
Imagine 7 months in visiting Sean's Island in Animal Crossing. He's still in the tent. I just prefer it.
He's built some like cliffs all around it as well. You know, just
it looks like I'm pleased we've got to get KK Slider here. Otherwise, we can't open a shop. Timmy and Tommy got no money. It's a fucking nightmare. Yeah. Okay. Go on.
Okay. Then we had 12 minutes. Yeah, the Annapurna Interactive.
Yes,
that's
mate.
good.
I'm well excited about this.
It's really good.
I mean, it's fucking disturbing, but
it does.
It looks like it's going to be clever enough to not let that get in the way for me.
Yeah, I love the fact that I'm assuming that isometric or even that it's just top down view. Yeah, that's the way it's going to look. I'm very interested in that. It looks great.
It's got some talent in it, isn't it?
It has. It's got Daisy Ridley, James McAvoy, and William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what other film? Anyway, no, go on. Let's move on.
Yeah, because I saw that and I was like,
pay $10 to get that joke. Go on.
I was going to say, because I thought, getting Daisy Ridley was quite a big deal, but then apparently she's like struggled to find work after Star Wars. You've all seen this?
Yeah, I saw
in
that,
the news. She's like, no one wants to hire me anymore.
Which is weird because she is genuinely fantastic throughout that. Whatever you think of the films, like her acting is second to none,
great.
man. It is quality.
Plus, like I've seen her like climb up a wall and then flip upside down and then carry on climbing up a wall upside down. So
what was this? Just in the local leisure centre?
Yeah, just hanging out. So there she is. Look, she's doing the old Spider-Woman routine. No, it was like it was like a making of thing for one of the new Star Wars, isn't it? It just showed her doing her training. She's ludicrous.
Yeah, no, she's great. Great actor.
Then we had Mafia Definitive Edition. They showed a bit of that, and I thought that looked very nice as well.
This confused me. So have we had Definitive Edition of Mafia 2?
I've no idea.
Well, yeah,
so
basically...
we haven't had a definitive... That was just a...
2 and 3, the 2 and 3 remasters came out.
Right.
But those, I believe, were just, a bit of a touch of pain.
Right, whereas this is a remake.
This is much more of a bigger reworking, I believe.
Cool. All right.
Of the
and
first
hopefully
one.
We've got the terms down correctly this time.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Definitive.
Then we had Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. They showed like
Best
a trailer
thing
of that
on show.
Yep.
I think this looked fantastic. I was surprised by how much of a Lego games it looked. You know what I mean? It looked like a Lego game.
But then I suppose there's only
to me it did.
There's only so much that tech can do for Lego, right?
I think it's more that the word of the mouth during the previews and stuff after its first showing was they are going to change everything you think about a Lego game.
Yeah, that's fair. Whereas this did just look
really,
like I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean it had some nicer stuff in it. Mm-hmm. Like it looked like certainly that the areas that you play in seem a lot bigger than they are because in Lego games, if you're playing the campaign anyway, it's very much these tightly scripted areas, these very small areas that you just move from section to section in solving puzzles and beating people up. But and some of the shots on this showed like big towns that you'd be walking around and stuff like that. But in terms of gameplay itself, it looked very very familiar. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is that the some of the jokes in the trailer made me laugh a lot. The Palp joke at the end, fantastic. And I was really disappointed because I was watching some reaction videos to that and no one else laughed. It was just me. I thought it was great. It looks really good. I'm really excited for it. I showed it to Harry. He was blown away. We're both looking forward to that next year.
Then we had Fall Guys Season 2, which just showed medieval outfits and stuff like that. I was
very, very impressed with this. Very impressed. I let myself believe that that this game was more of a surprise for the devs, like the success of this game, and maybe they wouldn't be prepared for it. But then when you look at what they've got planned, you go, oh, they were totally prepared for this. Yep. You can't knock up all that stuff in a couple of weeks. Like that is the fact that they're already showing Season 2, and Season 2 isn't just a couple new costumes.
Yeah,
like, this is not only new levels, but new, completely different styles of levels as well. Because did you see what you had to do in one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I was in like moving the staircases and stuff.
Yeah. So it looks like it's one of the race ones, right? And it looks all against all, so it's not a team thing. But it looks like you have to kind of position platforms to get up to higher platforms to go up some steps essentially that are too big for your character. But obviously, the problem is if you're moving a platform to try and get up, other people are going to be using that platform that you're moving to try and progress. So you might actually just be helping out people around you. But yeah, I mean that just looks great. I can't wait to see how
I love the fact
out.
there's themes as well. I didn't really sort of anticipate that. Like, you know, it's like a medieval theme, isn't it? This season 2.
Yeah. So it's going to be.
I was like, okay, this is great. Like, they're already expanding the scope of what I thought a Fall Guys level was. So yeah, very excited for that.
Am I really the only one still playing this constantly? Like, between the four of us?
Yeah. I mean, I played it a bit.
I'm really surprised.
I played it a bit, but not like every day. I'm only playing it like now and again. But it's still good.
I'm loving it so much. Like, it really is good fun. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Sean. It is getting way harder to get crowns now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really surprised. There's apparently, a lot of tactics.
I don't know what Xbox and PS4 are like, but apparently cheating on PC version is getting really bad.
Well, it's not on the
really?
Xbox.
In what way?
Sure.
I can't remember. I've seen people on Twitter basically saying like this needs fucking fixing like pronto because it is ruining it.
I saw a video of basically going a guy just or a character running from the start to the end of the crown one.
Oh yeah, just like floating over everything and just
running through barriers straight to the end.
Why? What are they getting out of that?
This is it.
Like, I will never understand the mentality. It's so bizarre. Yeah, I won. Okay, what?
It's like, yeah, you won a game that no one else was playing. It's not like you.
I know, yeah, it's so bizarre. I will say this, right? Jeff Keighley truly fucked me off beforehand. Because, so we talked last week about when or if they're going to announce a Switch and Xbox version, right? And I was saying, look, I think the deal is, while it's on PS Plus, you know, I can't really see them announcing the Xbox version until that deal is over, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the morning of, just before Jeff Keighley's thing, Sony announced next month's PS Plus thing. And I thought, maybe that's the trigger point. Maybe today's the day where they can announce it, and it just so happens to land on this where they're doing their big Season 2 presentation. So maybe they'll announce it now. Maybe they're clear of their contract or whatever, their agreement, and they'll announce it for Xbox tonight. And then just before the trailer started, Jeff Keighley went, the internet's going to go crazy for this, and started laughing. And I was thinking, they're going to do it. They're going to announce the versions. Oh my God, this is it. And it didn't happen. And I was like, Jeff, what are you doing, man? Like, what? The internet are going to go crazy for the medieval theme? Like, what are you doing? And the other point to make as well, they had the lead designer of the game. And, I mean, John said this to me. It looked like he was still in his bedroom in his mum and dad's house. And you know that you're looking at a multi-millionaire now. So it's like, I mean, I was assuming he has got a cut of the profits or whatever. But, yeah, you're looking at a very rich studio all of a sudden working from his mum and dad's.
Yeah, I don't think he's suddenly going to be a multi-millionaire just because he designed it.
Quite well like that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. But, like, what his stake is in the studio. But he's certainly the spokesperson. He's appeared in everything, like all the interviews that I've seen. He's been the man, so it'd be interesting. And we'll never know that, but it's still amazing how incredible that game has done. It still blows me away. It's really surprising. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay, and then we had the Medal of Honor VR game, the Medal of Honor Above and Beyond.
I'd switched off at this point.
Oh man, this looks
alright. It's by Respawn.
Yeah, it looks Respawn, Oculus Rift, Rift S. You can play on Quest using Quest Link, which is when you need a USB cable to plug into your PC that can obviously play VR games, but it can be played on Quest. But
yeah, we were saying it was a bit naughty, wasn't it, Matt? Because on the trailer it was like end, you can play it on the Oculus Quest, and I was like, oh shit, that'd be amazing, like doing that fully wirelessly. But no, it's if you hook it up to a PC, which is still good. Like, still means we can play it. But... And
yeah, if anything, that makes me a bit more. I mean, it's annoying, but that makes me a bit more excited. This is more of a definitely like a full-fledged game. And the fact is, Respawn, they don't make bad games. I thought the trailer looked fantastic. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, man.
I won't get too excited. I want that Quest back soon.
Well, you're not going to get it for this.
Yeah, well, I think I am. Yeah, Okay, right. Is that it? Was that all?
No, there's more.
The last thing we got like an extended look at Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is apparently due now within what they're calling a launch window.
What did that look like?
It looked like a Ratchet and Clank game, didn't it?
I mean, to be fair, like this actually showed what we thought the PlayStation conference was going to show, but then didn't it? So this actually showed like jumping between worlds.
Yeah,
right. Okay, I haven't seen this trailer yet, but does it do what we thought? Where it was just really it's just certain parts of the level, and it's like a
no. That's what you're saying. It doesn't do that. It did full skipping to other worlds, right? Sure.
Well, it was sort of scripted though. Yeah, it wasn't just constant like, oh, now I'm here and now I'm here. Like it was, and there was like a little break between them. It's not just like bang and now you're somewhere else. It was like, oh, you jumped through a portal, right. 1 second, 2 second, bang, and now you're somewhere else. Still very impressive. But yeah. But it's when we saw it at the PlayStation 1, and it was like there was a bit of a cutscene where it was jumping between all these worlds, and then the actual gameplay they showed was just like, it was basically just like a teleportation mechanic. You were just
to another part of the map.
Whereas what we saw here was an actual gameplay section that involved like jumping between these different dimensions, and it looked like pretty good fun. But there's still that concern that it's just going to be certain set pieces, and that's pretty much
like certain areas of the map where you can do it.
Yeah,
you can't go everywhere. No, I mean, it looks. I haven't seen this new trailer, but it looks stunning before. So, launch window. I mean, obviously, no one knows what launch window actually means, but one would assume, from launch to like March or May next year. I mean, 6 months.
If they don't launch for this,
well, no, I mean, they've said launch window. So,
yeah, but what if they don't launch with this? What are they launching with?
Miles Morales. That's pretty much it, and Bugsnax.
Yeah, but Bugsnax is PS4 as well.
It is, yeah, that's true.
This is why Miles Morales is like a 7 to 10 hour game as well. So you'll be done on launch day. But
it's funny, isn't it? Because it really feels like I think both Microsoft and Sony probably would like to delay this until next year now. Like it would make more sense. I bet. But now neither can, because they both got into this sort of like yeah, they're both committed and they don't want to be
up too. It's true. I mean, it's a really weird situation. And I mean, I've said it on the podcast before, I'll say it again. I really do think this is going to be very low sales compared to, the previous few generations of new console launches.
Especially with like the financial problems and all that kind of thing. It's
and also just like affecting, actually like manufacturing them. So there will be less.
Sony have already come out and said there's going to be a very limited amount of consoles.
There will be less because of less manufacturing because of COVID and whatnot, and less because of financial difficulties and like the games, and it's gonna be fascinating. But who knows?
And they're the most expensive consoles, by the sounds of it, ever to be released.
The common rumor about like when we're going to hear stuff next is a lot of people are suggesting September 9th, which is it's the anniversary of the PlayStation's launch in North America.
Okay.
So some people are saying, rumors we could be hearing something there, but I mean, it's September. I mean, like we're recording this on the 31st, but by the time this podcast comes out, we're in September. Surely. We will be hearing something in this month.
Do you know what I want to see?
Surely.
I want to see both of them on stage at the same time, right? Not showing off their consoles, but you go there and go, look, you've got to announce your console, the price of your consoles. Go. And they're both like standing next to each other, sort of looking at each other, going, the Xbox One, the PS5 is coming out for $4. in dollars. Yeah. 4, 3.
5.
Sorry, 3.
5.
2. 1. £5. $5.
$6.99.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
But this is a month. We can all rest easy. We're going to hear something about it this month, surely.
This is a month.
Oh, no, this is the month. This is the month where surely we're going to hear about stuff.
Yeah, but we said that about August. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, but come on, this is getting beyond the joke now. So it's
maybe we get to like December and we're having conversations about like who's done the least bad. Of the whole thing. It's like it's just crazy.
But I mean, I know there's always massive rivalry between Xbox and PlayStation, but you've got to imagine all these people sort of know each other, and it's not like don't talk to the Xbox a lot or don't talk to Sony a lot. I bet if there is going to be a delay, I bet they probably would have both said, "Look, come on, look, should we both delay it?" And they both delay it. I don't think it's like a. I don't think they are playing chicken. I think they probably do know what the other one's doing because it's probably just well known at this point. And
I don't think so.
You think that they might ring each other up and go, "Look, should we both delay? Yeah, let's both delay." And then like Sony announce a delay.
It's fucking prisoner's dilemma, isn't it? It's just bizarre.
No, you delay. No, you delay. No, you delay.
It's golden balls. It's like
I mean, basically that's how they should release the price. They're both there and like bang.
Can I just say, I love that when I mention the prisoner's dilemma, I get nothing, but when I say it's golden balls, everyone goes, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the prisoner's dilemma is.
That's what golden balls is based on.
I haven't seen that show.
Jasper Carrot was in prison and he had a dilemma, did he?
Yeah, he had to murder someone to get out.
Did he do it?
Yeah, he did. That's why he's on telly now. That's how he got out.
Okay. Wow. He turned around to the other guards and just went, "I've got to be on telly," and they went, "Oh, right, on your way."
He had to shank someone to get out. He did it.
Okay.
We had to convince them not to try and shank him back.
Okay, second bit of news.
Okay,
shank or steal?
This is the second bit of news. So Nintendo had a Direct Mini. And, I mean, I don't really want to talk about this in massive detail because it's, I mean, okay, these are the games.
This was another partner direct,
showcase,
wasn't it? Yeah, partner showcase.
Yeah, it's a partner one. We're not getting anything else. So we had Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, that's coming out in December. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack. Just Dance 2021. And then there was a collection, it's called Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend. And that's like 3 ancient Game Boy games that they're releasing. And then we had Big Rumble Boxing, Creed Champions.
So shit, what are they doing, man? Go on.
Big Rumble Boxing, Creed Champions, which looked a lot like. Do you remember Rocky on was it PS2 and like GameCube and stuff?
I thought that's what it was.
That's what it looked like, didn't it? It really looked like
100%. Looked like
and
Rocky,
that was a good game. That was a good game. I enjoyed that.
It was alright.
Then we had Jump Force Deluxe Edition. I mean, that's out on everything. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition, also out on everything. Minecraft Dungeons, out on everything. And Captain Tsubasa Rise of New Champions, which I think is also... Is that out on everything as well?
Let's just say yes.
Yeah. Or you can't say everything.
We're not going to get any emails.
Well, not Stadia.
We're not going to get an email saying, I went to buy Captain Tsubasa for my Nokia N-Gage. And it wasn't fucking out.
Thanks, James.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, another one. Another lie.
You say we're not going to get that, but we probably are, Sean. You know what? Our listeners are like, right, okay.
So it was disappointing, but not disappointing. I guess it depends what you want, what you're in.
I went in expecting nothing. Yeah,
pleasantly satisfied by the end of it. Go on.
Okay, so Apple have now terminated Epic's developer account as promised.
I thought they did. Oh, they promised it and now they've done it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what this means is it means that like Epic developed games like Infinity Blade and stuff, you can't download them from the App Store anymore. Like that's done.
No, not Infinity Blade.
Yeah.
People tried to tell me that was good. When that first came out, people were going, "No, it's really good." And I played it.
Was good back in the day.
It's not very good. I hope that I didn't get it.
So
how do you know it wasn't if you didn't get it, Dave? How do you know it wasn't good if you didn't even get?
Yeah, Dave.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was alright.
Comparing other stuff at the time, come on.
You're annoying me now. Go on.
Okay. So Epic have also confirmed that this means there's going to be no new seasons of Fortnite, and that's that. There's no more updates or whatever for it. But Apple has not terminated Epic's access to developer tools for Unreal Engine, so developers can still use like Unreal Engine and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought they were told not to.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, do you want the full quote from Apple, what they said about this?
Yes, please.
Go on. Did they say... no, go on. I was going to make a joke, but I didn't have it in me.
Did they say, Epic are the baddies actually fight a war against the baddies, we're the goodies?
Free Apple.
Yeah. No, they actually said, we are disappointed that we have had to terminate the Epic Games account on the App Store. We have worked with them at Epic Games for many years.
They're disappointed. That's the worst. That's the worst, God.
We have worked with the team at Epic Games for many years on their launches and releases. The court recommended that Epic comply with the App Store guidelines while their case moves forward, guidelines they followed for the past decade until they created this situation. Epic has refused. Instead, they repeatedly submitted Fortnite updates designed to violate the guidelines of the App Store. This is
like every one of my school reports. Go on. This is how it reads.
This is not fair to all the other developers on the App Store and is putting customers in the middle of their fight. We hope that we can work together again in the future, but unfortunately, that is not possible today.
It is. It's a letter home to the parents, isn't it? That's what that is. I'm very disappointed to let you know that David has not followed the uniform code that he has agreed to and kept to for the past 2 years. Oh God, that is that. If I was Epic, I'd be going, "Oh my God, we've actually really upset him now. We've upset him, guys. Should we cancel everything?" That is the most boring story. Do you know when that story first broke? It seemed like it was going to be the most exciting story on the face of the planet, right? Because it was all happening in that one night, and now I just don't care. I just don't give a shit at all. Who cares? Like, there's a new story coming out on these gaming websites. Epic have done this, and I'm like, fucking who gives a shit now? Yeah. Really boring. Next.
So the next story is about Marvel Avengers, and it's about their systems for what they're doing for DLC characters and stuff again. So it turns out that every post-launch Marvel Avengers hero, like that you buy or download, no, not buy, you just get them, like for you can download them, will have their own $10 battle pass. So rather than having like one battle pass for the whole game, they're going to have one for every character, but only the DLC characters, not the main ones that come out with it.
Why is this game like ever since? I mean, we played this at EGX last year, right?
We did, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was all right.
But we knew about it for years before then, right? So I would say, if it was only a year, then I would say ever since it was announced, feels like everyone's got a bad taste in their mouth over this game.
I mean, some of that was unfair.
There's a thing about it. Go on, in what way?
Well, just the stuff we talked about previously about people being like, "Oh, why isn't it? The ones from the films." Well, it was probably never going to be. And realistically, that stuff shouldn't matter. No one's ever cared about that stuff in other superhero games. So why care about it now?
Okay.
But so that stuff, I don't care. Like, it really doesn't bother me. However, all the monetization and some of the marketing around it has just been like trying its best to poison people against it, hasn't it? It's been really bad.
It really has. It's very strange. And I mean, I'll be completely honest. The stuff that I played of it at EGX seemed like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
So that's why, even then, I was quite surprised that there was a bad atmosphere about the game. But yeah, even people that I've been talking about the beta that they've tried and stuff. It's been mainly negative, not like the game's crap, but more like just seems a bit disappointing.
There's some weird decisions I played a bit of it, but I wasn't going to mention it because I haven't played enough to form any sort of opinion. But yeah, it's just a bit unremarkable. Sadly, it was interesting again in this, it is or isn't the criticism warranted. Did you see that clip that was doing the rounds of like what happens if you don't press X to do Thor's big move?
Yeah, that was great.
What was that?
So basically, someone was like, "Oh my God, this is literally what happens." So there's like when Thor first arrives and he's in the air and he lifts his hammer up, and it's like press X to do his big smash the hammer down on the ground move. And it sort of, goes into slow motion, waiting for you to press it. And if you don't press it, it does eventually just stop completely, dead.
And but it also cuts the music.
Oh, that's right.
Which is a crucial thing.
And everyone was taking the piss out of it. And then it was, one of the guys who worked on Celeste was just like, "This is literally what we did in Celeste. No one gave a shit."
Yeah, I mean, what else do you want them to do?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want them to do?
Yeah,
that's so weird.
So yeah, it's just interesting. Again, it's just this sort of double standard thing. It's just for, like in one game it's fine, and then another it's like, "Oh, look how shit this is." So I don't know.
Yeah, bizarre.
I think maybe that's because this is like coming from like a massive licensed property. It's
the whole point is that in design terms, there is no problem with doing that.
Yeah,
it's just not a problem.
Yeah, what's the alternative? the game goes foul, you go back a little bit and then you watch that bit again.
Or it just keeps going in slow motion until eventually, over several years, it completes the entire game for you.
I think it was just the fact they cut the music. Like I think the person who did the video said, I thought it actually crashed because it's just in the air, no movement, no sound, no nothing.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact they had to press X.
How good would that be if the game did do that? Like if you didn't press it, like in was it Far Cry, where if you don't press anything, a cutscene plays out and you've completed the game.
Oh yeah.
If in this, it's just it played the rest of the game in that speed. It just said, well, you should have pressed X when we told you to press X. You didn't do that, did you? So fuck you. Then you can't play this game anymore until 3 years time when you can finally see the credits roll in ultra slow motion. All right, go on.
Okay, so PS5 apparently is not going to have backwards compatibility with PS3, PS2, and PS1. So this is according to Ubisoft. This is a weird story because it's one of those things where it's being taken as being... I mean, I think this is probably true. Like, almost certainly it is just going to be PS4 games will play on it. Yeah. But then also people are reporting this as being a fact kind of now, which it's not. It's just it's come from Ubisoft. Like, it was a Ubisoft support page which said that... it says... backwards compatibility will be available for supported PlayStation 4 titles, but it will not be possible for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, or PlayStation games. So presumably that means Ubisoft those games, if you see what I mean. Yeah. But yeah, it's almost certainly true, but it's still a bit weird.
My question would be: will the Series X be backwards compatible with 360 games?
Well, yeah, it is.
Of course, it's all and Xbox games.
Yeah, but it's not going to be all 360 games, is it?
No, it'd be the ones that have already been done.
But the definition of what backwards compatibility is needs to be looked at, I think. I don't think you're going to be able to stick any... Well, maybe you will. Do you reckon you'd be able to stick any 360 disc into the Series S and it'll work?
I think so, yeah.
Because you can't do that with the Xbox One X.
Not any 360 game, only the ones that are supported. Yeah,
so when is that? What's backwards compatible then?
Well, whatever's on their list that they've already worked on to with the right wrappers or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So do you think Sony will have a bunch of PS3 games that work on the PS5? Because I do.
I think they'll probably do the same thing they have done already with PS2 games, which is exactly that. Like, there are PS2 games that work on PS4, but they're ones that they've adapted or whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's going to be a very similar situation there. So, yeah, a bit of a weird story.
I will say, like, since the story, like, that page has now been taken down.
I bet it has.
Which, I don't know if that's potentially Sony saying take it down.
Sony on the phone. Sony on the phone.
Take it down, you're fucking everything up.
But I imagine him threatening you in that voice.
Take it down.
To break your legs.
I'm going to kill you. Your family will die. But I mean, say this is true, and their backwards compatibility goes as far as PS4, and that's it. And so no PS3, PS2, and original PlayStation games. Do you think that's a huge deal?
No.
Like obviously, it would be nice to have, but it's
As I've said, right, and I said this for the previous consoles as well. No one's buying a game for backwards. No one's buying a brand new console for backwards compatibility, but the inclusion of it is very nice to have.
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
I think particularly for previous gen stuff, and now that we're on, like, a lot of people have digital libraries of, like, loads of PS4 games or whatever like that. That does make a big difference. But I think they're going to deliver PS3 and PS2 games just through PlayStation now, aren't they? They just did the same thing as that.
Yeah.
There's no point.
I got to say that the day that Microsoft added backwards compatibility to the Xbox One, it was brilliant. Like, it was really good because you loaded up your console, you go to your games library, and there's like 20 games in there or whatever, and then all of a sudden it said like 130. You were like, Jesus Christ, I didn't realise how many games I bought on the fucking 360 digitally.
And that is where they could have the same kind of massive win with xCloud as well, if they did that. If they were like, sure, all the games you own, they're all in xCloud as well. I mean, that'd be fantastic. But anyway, so then the other thing that's happened this week with Sony is that you can now sign up, if you're in America, for a PlayStation 5 pre-order, even though we don't know the price yet. And
Mate, you were trying to convince me that this was massive, right?
What? It is.
Is it?
I mean,
I think you thought it was just like enter your email and you'll get notified. No, like this is
exactly
the way.
what it is.
No,
it's worse than that. It's awful. I mean, the whole thing's awful.
But it's
like,
not
ridiculous.
to be notified about. Like basically, that they will select people to pre-order the console.
Right. Okay. So they will notify you when you can pre-order the console, right?
No, but only select people.
Yeah, it's
but it's not like an exclusive club, is it? It's just going to be random.
No.
No, it's not. That's the whole thing. It's not. No. It's not random.
No, it's not. Okay.
It's no. This is why this is ridiculous, because what it is you put your PSN ID in, like if you're in the US, and then you have a chance that you may be somebody who's selected to pre-order one through Sony, like not through like regular shops or whatever. But then apparently this, whether you're chosen or not, is based on previous interests and PlayStation activities.
Oh.
So basically, they're just choosing people that are already like fully into the system or whatever, who they know are going to give them like the best.
About it
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which it's for the rich people.
It's kind of crappy, isn't
it? Look, Matt. If I sign up to a notify my interest thing on Shop2, right?
Yeah.
What do? They email you and say pre-orders are now open. You can pre-order now.
Yeah,
but they don't look at your shopping history and then decide whether you're going to be.
I get that.
But also you don't need to like get their email to be able to pre-order. Anyone can pre-order at any point. That's just like if you really want. But this is like this is different.
This is no different. The only difference.
Totally different.
If you get that email and it says you can pre-order now, and you say it's not, you're not. No, it's the same thing. It's just they're being more selective with who they allowed to pre-order.
Exactly, and that's the worst thing.
Yeah. They're being selective on Shop2. That's just like if you want to get an email about it, but it's public. It doesn't matter. It's just like if you want to get an email about the ability to pre-order. Here is basically you're applying to be selected to pre-order. It's not just getting information about it.
So that's not this is not a huge thing, then, is it? It's
it's
the same
big,
thing, but they're being more selective.
You can sign up through Sony to pre-order for PS5.
So you're buying it from the Sony store instead of another retailer. That's the only difference here.
Well, and the fact that it's like you have to be selected. You can't just buy it.
It's not huge, is it, Matt? It's just another way of doing the notify me when it's available thing. It's just only certain people will be notified that it's available rather than everyone.
Well, yeah, but also they're the only ones that can buy it.
Okay. All right. I think, I mean, whatever. If you sign up to it, you're not committing to anything, so you might as well do it. But I think they are going to be looking at who's spending the most money. And
it's not about that because there is a limit of how many things you can buy. You can buy like one console per PSN.
No. Who's spending the most money on digital games, on products that they've registered?
The most platinums.
Yeah, they just want people that are going to generate the most buzz, don't they?
Yeah, they don't care about who's going to be playing the most games. They're going to be telling about, they don't care if you've got lots of platinums. It will be how much money you spend on that PSN store. That'll be the lead thing that lets them select who they're going to sell this console to. That makes sense to me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it means you get them into the hands of the most rabid fans first. So as you say, it's then sort of influencing.
Exactly. You'll then do the promotion for them.
I mean, you could argue that probably happens at the launch of a new console anyway.
Oh, definitely.
No one chucks 600 quid at a new console if they're like not sure if they're going to like it or not.
That's true. It's true. It's true. All right, go on.
Okay, so Fall Guys have made $1 million now for special effect.
Yeah,
and hold
on. What? So, sorry. Read the story. Then I must have misread the story. Go on.
Okay, so Mediatonic and Devolver Digital launched a 2-week auction with all the proceeds going to the charity Special Effects, which uses video games and technology to enhance the quality of life of people with disabilities. And the whole idea was that companies could bid for a branded in-game Fall Guy skin.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
And so, like, lots of companies were doing this. They were like putting money in, to donate for it. And then when did this happen? Was this today?
Yeah,
today. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ninja teamed up with it's at G2 Esports. Who's Mr. Beast YT?
Yeah.
And also
I love this.
AimLab.
It's like someone's dad listing plans or something like.
Yeah.
And a Mr. Beast YT.
Yeah. Or maybe it's Mr. Beastie. I don't know.
I'm not sure if that's his real name, but
it's Mr. Beast. It's a massive channel.
Okay. And so they combined a donation of $1 million, for this charity. So obviously that's good.
Yeah, that's amazing, a fantastic thing to do for charity, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, respect. That's cracking stuff. But yeah, so is the auction closed now?
Yeah, I think they got in last minute.
Could you imagine if McDonald's putting $1 million and $1? Does that come in? Okay, yeah, cool, great stuff.
Last story is that Left 4 Dead 2 is getting an update called The Last Stand. That's been made by the community.
So it's not clear whether it's a campaign or a multiplayer map or what is it? Has the details come out since? Because I saw when it was announced, but there wasn't that much detail around it.
Not completely, no. So it's a fan-made update, and it's the first thing since 2012 that's come out for the game. And the announcement was made on last Wednesday on the Left 4 Dead website. So this is what they said. They said, it has been many years since the infection first hit. Radio silence, no sign of life, nothing but lingering hopes. Cedar is not going to save us.
Sounds like Valve fans, doesn't it?
Cedar is not going to help us, but there is hope. A few brave souls have continued to fight against all odds, and soon we can all benefit from their resilience. And so it's called The Last Stand, and it refers to a lighthouse-themed level that was originally part of Left 4 Dead, like the first Left 4 Dead.
Yeah. It was a special game mode, wasn't it? It was like the Horde mode that they did, rather than the other multiplayer stuff where it was based around Lighthouse, very small map, which I'm assuming has been expanded on, right?
Yeah, I think that's the idea, and then that will be coming out in the near future, I think.
And PC only, I assume.
Yeah, and it's been, but also, I mean, Valve are fine with it. Like, they're sort of supporting it and everything, so that's good.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming they're getting a cut of any.
That's true. Yeah.
Well,
no, it's free, isn't it?
I suppose if it's a free update, then maybe not. But good. I'd love to see, companies getting behind community-supported expansions and stuff. Yeah,
especially when they're not doing anything with it themselves. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, for sure. No, that was a cool little story. And I pray for some more Left 4 Dead in the near future.
And that's it.
I pray for that. Okay, right. Okay. What we've been playing this week then. Let's start with James. James Farley.
Okay. Well, I've played 3 things this week, but I mean, 2 of them I want to go through pretty quickly because, I mean, I played Killzone Shadowfall, which, I mean, it's... You would probably ask why. Like, why have you played this? But I've been meaning to play it for a while because it was on PlayStation Plus.
I thought you had played it.
No, I've never played. I played it like really briefly. Like I played the first couple of levels and then stopped and played something else. But then I thought, okay, I'm going to sit through this and get through it because I thought, it's a launch game and I'd heard mixed things about it, and it still looks really impressive. Like if you play it now, it still looks, it looks brilliant.
Was this the
honestly,
one that we saw some footage of when we revisited that Sony conference a few months back?
Yes,
I remember saying at the time, like, actually, this still looks pretty wicked. Like,
yeah, and it really does. Like in game, it still looks incredible. Like in places, it's very impressive.
Well, before you go on, this is very important. Did you finish it?
Yes.
Okay, right. This is going to be great. Go on.
I mean, unfortunately, it's not a very good game. Oh. I absolutely hated it. Like pretty much,
hated it.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe... No, actually, yeah, by the end, I hated it.
Right, okay, yeah, by the end, everyone hated it. But
yeah,
I think...
I liked it, apart from the end. The end was like, Jesus Christ, this is horrendous. But yeah,
because the end was one of the worst things ever to happen. Like, it was so bad.
And it was terrible because it's really hard as well.
I know.
I played it on easy.
I remember getting to the point where I nearly broke the pad. Right, like all I will say in defence, right, it's not a classic game. It's not a good. I wouldn't even describe it as a really good game. But I think up until the final level aside, I think the combat stuff with the owl was really good. Like I really enjoyed what that brought.
I mean,
to
out
the
of context, that's a brilliant sentence for God.
Right, so the owl was it's like a robot thing, right?
Okay.
And doesn't it? Yeah. You could send it off to protect you, or
it can do like a shield, or it can
attack
for you.
You can do all that sort of stuff, and it works really well, especially in the opening levels where they were quite open. I think the second or third level was quite open, isn't it?
Yes.
And suddenly you're fighting away, but you're also slinging your owl somewhere to go and do stuff, and you're constantly managing that as well. And the benefits of using it in the correct way are like they're there. But do you know about the last level, Sean?
No, nothing about it.
You've heard us complain about it, right?
I honestly don't remember. So you're gonna, go from the start.
So the last level, out of nowhere, and stop me if I'm misremembering this, James. doesn't it? It goes fully stealth in this. It's quite an impressive looking area filled with NPCs.
Yes.
But you go fully stealth to try and get to a computer and hack it or something. Is that right?
You have to hack 2 computers and also pick up a sniper rifle.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's the stealth mechanics are just non-existent. You know, with stealth games, you are very aware of where people are looking and where you need, not necessarily where you need to go, but where you can't go.
Yeah.
So like, you'll look over and there'll be several people there, and you go, well, clearly I can't go over to that area. Mm-hmm. There's a warning when you're getting into eyesight of someone. And so you're going, okay, all right, back off, go here. You know, there's a lot of visual clues to what. There's nothing in this. You literally be walking along and it'll go, dead, next. And it's like, what?
Brilliant.
What the fuck?
See, and also, Dave, that bit of the game, it was just before I played Nomad Soul. And I was just like, okay, this is the final bit, and I just want to get through this before I play Nomad Soul. And I don't know why, but this game also gave me a massive headache, like playing it. And that bit at the end of the game, I felt so ill by the time I'd finished it that when I went in to play Nomad Soul, I still felt angry.
I think I do remember stories of like it was triggering a lot of motion sickness in people.
Which is odd because I never normally get that. And but this, I really did. Whenever I played it, I felt quite I didn't feel sick or anything, but it did give me a headache, which is just odd. But that last level is dreadful. But then the levels before that as well are not great. I mean, it gets really, really difficult and incredibly frustrating as well because the checkpointing is really poorly spaced, like in places. So you're like, I'm gonna have to do this again, or whatever like that. And the story's not that great. It's a bit boring, and there's also irritating insta-death as well in some places, which is not great. But yeah, I was disappointed. And I know this is a launch game, so you'd be thinking, launch games are often not brilliant. But this is a series which is supposed to have some sort of like pedigree, isn't it?
No, only for multiplayer, really.
Right. Okay.
The multiplayer is highly rated. So, and I remember the multiplayer being good, but nowhere near as unique as the previous games. It was Killzone 2 that really sort of everyone raves about the multiplayer for that.
See, I'd always perceived Killzone as one of those franchises that just like it was just that it was a PlayStation exclusive that gave it some sort of
part of it as well.
Kudos, even
it's
though
definitely that because I remember playing the original PlayStation, the original Killzone on PlayStation 2, and you remember there was all those like at that time it was like print magazines and everything were just like all saying like this is Sony's Halo killer and all that kind of thing. And I remember playing it and just thinking this is dreadful. Like this is just it's a really this is not anything.
They said the same with Resistance for PS3, wasn't it? When they come out, they were like, "This is the Halo game that Sony needed." And I remember playing that and going, "Man, this feels so dated already." It's so bizarre. But
and this really did as well. I felt disappointed really by it because I mean, as I said, I wasn't expecting a lot because of a launch game, but I was at least expecting it to be sort of like solidly sort of fun. But it was incredibly irritating, like through a lot of the game, and just not fun at all. I said to Chen, I came off it and I was like, that is one of the worst games I've played for quite a long time. And she was like, why did you play it? And I was like, I don't know. I've got problems.
Don't make me answer that question. Just
you have got problems with games that you choose to play. It's unbelievable. I remember, what was it when you were talking about what you were going to stream next? We were chucking suggestions at you. I think you'll really like this, James. Yeah, play this. I think you really like this. No, I'll play Nomad Soul. I think that'll be a good stream game.
It was. Turns out it wasn't. But we'll get on to that.
It kept crashing. But yeah. So yeah, I played that and regretted it, but there you go. The other thing I played, apart from Tell Me Why, which I imagine we're all going to talk about anyway, is I played Vader Immortal. Over today, actually, I played it. And after playing Blood and Truth, it feels very wooden.
Really?
Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand why. Blood and Truth does seem very versatile, right? You're literally just walking around and you're getting into those combat areas, and there's a lot of ducking, diving, shooting. From what I see you play, it was pretty. You felt a lot freer, whereas this is very scripted. Here's where you go.
Yeah,
you're fighting one enemy at a time. All that sort of stuff. It doesn't feel as action packed.
Especially,
which I totally get.
especially like the combat, because like when you're doing like the lightsaber stuff, it's cool, but you know how like everything's kind of slowed down like a lot, like when you're doing the combat.
Yeah,
and it's
for sure.
like the thing with that is that's fine, and I understand why they've done that, but from other VR games I've played, they haven't done that, and it's like it is possible actually to use like normal reaction speeds or whatever.
But the reason they've done that is because Star Wars has a massive wide appeal, and they're going for people that are using VR for the first time. As I said, it was my go-to VR game to show people because people know what Star Wars is, and when they pick up that lightsaber and they're waving it about, that tells you what VR is. That instantly goes, fuck, I'm connecting with VR, and I realise why that's cool. When Darth Vader walks up to you, you go, wow, now I know why VR is cool.
Yeah.
So that's the audience they're going for, rather than, creating a masterpiece in terms of VR gaming.
And that's exactly, I mean, that's what I thought when I was playing it. To me, it felt much more like it was a demo, really, like a sort of a tech demo more than a game, I felt. It's,
No, I think it was more of a theme park ride. I would describe it as that rather than a tech demo. Because, all right, it looks great, but I think if you were to be in, Disney World and you stuck one of those on your head, you would come out impressed and go, that was a thrilling little ride thing there where I got to see bits of Star Wars and got that Star Wars feeling. But at the same time, it's not for people that are really looking for a game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the puzzle at the start, and it's like, this is a really hard cube. You must solve this puzzle, and you turn it over, press a button.
Yeah,
right?
click. Done it.
Because I've only played like the first episode. They're all like this, then I presume. Like
I don't know. So we've got the first 2 episodes on the Oculus account. I've not played the second one yet.
See, I've got the second one and the third one because it was a package.
Oh, that's right. Because on PSVR, it's all just one thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've downloaded them, so I'll probably play them this week because they're only about an hour long each one.
Yeah,
so.
go through them and let us know.
I thought it was quite a good, like as a Star Wars nerd, bit of an insight into Vader as well.
Yeah, cool, I did like that. Yeah, that was quite
like
good.
Him still being sad about Padme and shit. Like you don't see a lot of that from actual Darth Vader, and like much of the. I mean, I think if you delve into the comics and stuff, you do. But yeah, that was cool.
I think
it was still cool seeing him first time. I was like, oh bloody hell, I was a bit.
Yeah, because you forget that Vader's like 7 feet tall in the film.
Yeah, he's really tall. Isn't he? That was the thing. Yeah, I felt quite short, but it's. I don't know. It was.
I felt quite short. Couldn't they quote that? Put that on the press release. James Farley, computer game show. I felt quite short.
I mean, most people play games for like a power fantasy. James just wants tall men to stand over.
stand over a bit.
It did make me feel insignificant when I was standing there.
But that's the whole. That's the point, isn't it? And as you say,
job done.
It's getting across that gravitas of the character.
Yeah. There you go. So the only other thing I played was Tell Me Why. And,
before we get into that, you're not talking about Call of Duty.
Well, I've not finished it yet. I'm near the end, I think, but I'd rather talk about that when I finish it.
I know, but that London level at the start, man, I'm surprised there wasn't more of a fuss kicked up about that.
I thought there was. Loads of people went on about it.
Really? I must have missed it.
That wasn't as big as No
the van
Russian,
blowing up.
But...
There's loads of fuss about this.
It was really hard. I didn't see it. It was really hard to do, actually. I must admit, it was the first one of these levels that Call of Duty games do. I mean, No Russian was harsh, but I think this one, it just made me feel really uncomfortable, actually. It was, it was hard to get through. I mean, I'm glad I got through it. It was, I don't want to say interesting. I mean, it made me feel things, and I suppose that's kind of the point. But it was like, fuck, man, I'm not dealing with this too well.
I think there's worse. But what I mean by worse is the way things are depicted in this game are not great. I really don't think.
Yeah, I picked up on that very quickly, but I guess we'll talk about that once you've completed it.
Yeah. But, but mechanically, it's still Call of Duty, and it's still quite fun to play, is the only thing. But,
Okay, so
we'll
Nomad Soul. Nomad Soul.
I was going to say, yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
You've got to talk about it, James.
Well, look, I mean,
what's to say?
Especially since we were all giving you a kick in at the start of the show, can I just acknowledge that I was pissing myself watching this? It was great.
Yeah, it's a great stream.
At one point, I mentioned this in the chat at the time, my Google Home speaker asked me if I was all right. And I don't know if that's because the noises I was making were interpreted as screaming or crying. But it's fucking brilliant. I only managed to catch the first sort of 20-30 minutes.
Well, I mean, I tuned in, and James's stream setup was what was it? An iPhone filming the
TV.
It was MacBook or something.
It was an iPhone filming my MacBook. Yeah.
Yeah, and I looked at it and I just went, James, you could have at least wiped your screen. Like I couldn't see the top half of it because there was fingerprints all over it.
It's true. It was quite dirty.
And instead of cleaning it, you went, "I'll just turn the light off. Look, you can't see them now."
That worked. It worked very well.
It did. It worked very well. But then you started going, "Well, don't like being in the dark."
I didn't. I don't like being in the dark in the garage. It's horrible. It smells out here.
Wipe your screen. You mucky pup.
Yeah. Also, James, if the light's on, it still smells in there.
Yeah, doesn't it? Or is it the thing about how, because you can't see as much, it heightens your other senses?
Exactly, yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a good reminder that actually someone just pointing an iPhone at a MacBook is as entertaining, if not more so, than the most expensive streaming setup in the world. So
exactly.
Especially
that first crash was amazing.
You haven't got Matt there.
What? No, because I also just endlessly piss about with my setup, don't I? And it's just
I'm looking forward to watching all of that. But what was the game about? The game kept crashing.
Oh yeah, the first crash, I almost died. I had it on the second window because I was playing Tell Me Why, but I had it on mute, and then I must have I thought I'd watch you for a bit, and then when the crash was unbelievably funny. The first one, apparently there was another one.
It didn't save.
It did happen twice.
So we had to do the intro.
Oh, that's amazing! I didn't know that. Did it have skippable cutscenes?
No.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
You see, the problem is that I found, because I'm playing it through emulation, if you leave the game at any point, like if you tab out or anything like that, the game just crashes and it's done. And so the trouble was I was doing a section which was a combat section, and I didn't know what the buttons were, or the keys rather, because I'm playing it using keyboard. And so I was just hammering the different keys on my keyboard as you're doing it. And on Mac, if you do that, if you keep pressing, I think it's the FN key repeatedly, it comes up and it says, "Do you want to do dictation?" You see. And so it did that, and it crashed out of the game and came up, "Do you want to do dictation?" And so that was annoying, because I lost about half an hour of progress that I'd made. Then I started
again.
Yeah, started the game up again, and then just started to get into it again, and then I accidentally did the same thing again by accident, and then I crashed again, and then I had to do the whole thing again, and yeah, it was bad, and I still was feeling sick and had a headache from playing Killzone as well, during this, so I was not very happy. So next one will be better, I think. It's and also lots of that game is weird. It's a really odd game.
Yep.
It really is. What's going on in it, I'm still not entirely clear. I mean, I know what's going on, but it's a strange game. It really is.
I mean, it made me laugh.
It's definitely
when on the stream you said I don't really know what genre this is, and it was myself and Ben at the same time were just mate, it's everything. It's got every fucking genre in it, and all implemented quite badly.
Because that was the thing. Because Ben said to me, he was these are the controls for the combat. And he was note that that's just for the combat. It's there's other control systems for other types of gameplay.
One-on-one fighting game mechanics. There's first-person bits. I think is there driving in it? Maybe. I know you mostly just go around by taxis, but yeah, and then there's actually the just sort of running around the city controls. It's absolutely bizarre. Which is why I wanted you to play it. I'm really glad you are finally on it, even though obviously it's not actually good, but there's a lot of times where you catch yourself being like, "This came out in 1999," or
yeah. Well, some of the dialogue you certainly can catch that it came out
yes
as well. It's definitely a David Cage game. It definitely is. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with it though, because I want to. I don't know how long is it roughly.
I have no idea. I think it's quite big. So that opening city, Omicron, that's one of several locations in the game.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, it's fascinating because you play that now and you realise that, like, for all the stupid shit in, a lot of his relatively recent games, like, that's him on a relatively tight leash. Like, when you go back and play Nomad Soul, and it's like, fuck, this is what happens when he just gets to do whatever he wants. And it's bizarre.
So, on how long to beat, and I go on it all the time, but it's like kind of pointless because there's speed runs and all sorts that fuck things up. But they say the main story is 13 hours.
Okay.
Main and extra is 18 and a half. Completionist is 22.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It's going to take me about 30 hours then, isn't it?
Yeah, 30, yeah, always double it. No, plus 3.
I'm excited for you to go to your first David Bowie concert.
I'm looking forward to that.
I mean, it's definitely going to get muted on the VOD, but,
Well, what was annoying is that I got like a call because like you're policing the game to go to this like supermarket. Wandered in there. There's somebody with a gun, and then it suddenly went into first person mode. I've no idea what the controls are. So again, I was just like hammering buttons, and I was jumping up and down, and then he shot me, and then some guy comes up and just says, "Oh, you should probably take a health pack." And I was suddenly outside the supermarket.
Take a health pack. Yeah. Some guy comes up. It wasn't David Cage from your garage, was it?
It wasn't, no. It was like, yeah, and it was like, then I was like, okay, well, I should go back in the supermarket and see what's happened. And they were like, it's locked. You can't go back in there now. I was like, what's happened? What am I supposed to do?
We haven't programmed it to reset, so that's it. It's just locked. You can't go back in.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting, I think, to play through.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
All right. Right. Should we get to tell me why?
Yeah.
I'm starting to remember the name of the game now because for ages I don't know what happened to my brain, but I just could not get the title in my head because I don't know. It was weird. My brain wouldn't compute it. But yeah. I mean, we're going to do a spoiler cast. There are 3 episodes in total. Is that right?
Yeah, and they're coming out in relatively quick succession, aren't they?
Yeah, every week, aren't they?
Yeah, weekly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's cool, but we're going to do a spoiler cast. This will be a brief discussion, not about the story at all, but more about the game and some of the themes and overall thoughts. But we won't drag on too long. I know we talk about Don't Nod's games way more than anyone else on the planet. So we're relatively conscious of that. But what did you guys think? James, seeing as it's still your section, you could start.
I mean, I did enjoy it. I really did enjoy it. I mean, particularly, I'm loving, as usual with Don't Not games, I'm loving the atmosphere and the music and all that kind of stuff. And, I mean, I do also like the addition, like the way that they've implemented, like what we call like the character's abilities or whatever. I feel that this is a lot better than in previous Don't Nod games. Like, like it does the whole vibrating controller thing, and it's very clear when you need to do it, which I didn't feel was the case in previous games. And I thought that was quite well done. And I also like the way that the game switches between the characters as well, like in terms of like who you can play as, because it does give really quite different perspectives.
It doesn't make it that clear when it does that though. Like I found, especially the scene on the boat, right? There were times where a character was replying to something, and because you don't really know the characters that well at that point, I was kind of like, right, who's saying this now? Like, well, whose dialogue am I choosing now? Am I choosing? Is it Alison's or Tyler's? It's you're sitting there just going, "What the fuck? Who's actually saying this?" So yeah, it was a little bit clunky at the start, but it gets a lot better as you play through.
Speaking about the ability, that's actually one of my disappointing aspects of the game.
You're kidding me.
I kind of just wanted like a straight story. Like I didn't. I know I get that this is what Don't Not do with their games, and there's like a supernatural, like a magical element to all of them. But I don't know. I kind of just wanted it without that.
It does feel less. Yeah, I feel like it's, I don't know, not entirely necessary.
Life is Strange. It worked and it was like different, and then like with all their games as they go on, I feel like this needed less and less.
Yeah.
And like,
do you know, Matt? I'm not sure I agree with you in this game, but in games in general, I'm finding that a lot. Maybe it's just because I'm starting to feel that way about games a lot for some reason at the moment. Like, there was that game that we saw at the Gamescom thing that was Unknown 9 Awakening.
Oh yeah.
And and there was like that young like girl like running through like the city and everything, and then she gets attacked, and then it's obviously like supernatural powers and everything, and I just was like, I don't know. I just feel like I'd like to see some sort of non-supernatural stuff, or for a change.
Yeah, I agree. But what I will say is that initially I was thinking that, Matt. I was thinking, well, what is this offering? I'm just going and pressing a button and getting a cutscene. But I think it's signposted that it's not just going to be that.
Yeah.
And we had the first hint of that. So for those of you that don't know, it's about some twins. And how far do I go into the story? I'm not going to go too far into it, actually. But it's about twins, right? And the supernatural thing that happens in this game that you get to control as such, or things that happen while you're playing, is that you get to see their memories from the past in these sort of silhouette. Certain sections, you can walk up to it, you activate your focus, you hold down A, and a scene plays out in front of you as these silhouettes, and you can look at their past. But about I don't want to spoil anything.
I don't think this is a spoil. I know what you're going to say. I think this is valid, and I think it will get more people interested than...
Okay, right. So I'm playing it, and I'm going, this is okay, but it's just, this could be done in cutscenes, or this could be what is this? Like, why? All I'm doing is going up and pressing A. But then later on in that episode, it shows you it acts up until that point that they've got some sort of connected brain, they can talk to each other without talking to each other, that sort of thing. So they've got some sort of connected brain that works together. But then it destroys that later on by saying, no, one character remembered a certain situation this way, the other character remembered that same situation in a completely different way. And you've got to sort of decide which memory you're going to go down, like which sort of avenue you're going to go down with it. And that I found instantly fascinating. I thought I wasn't expecting that. That's a really interesting way of saying memory is fucked, and everything you've seen up to this point might be completely wrong. Every recollection that they've had up until this point may be bullshit. And it made me go, right, okay, so this is the way it's going to go down. And if I'm right, the feeling, if I'm right, I think they're going to do some really interesting stuff with that, where you're going to have to pick holes in memories and compare them against facts that you find and stuff like that. And that excites me a lot. There's none of that in this episode. There's one section where you have to decide which memory you want to see more of.
And it is just open to... It's not even interpretation, is it? It's just just pick the one you want. Or the one you want to act upon, sort of.
Yeah. And if you look at Life is Strange Season 1, what they did was introduce the mechanic of rewinding time, and then they explored that. It sort of got weirder and weirder as you went through the series. Yeah. And then not only could you just rewind time, you could literally jump into photographs and adjust times in bits in the past. They've got history of exploring that main supernatural ability and expanding it, right? If they do that here, the way it seems to have foreshadowed in that episode 1, then I'm interested in that, definitely. So although I agree with you, I would like to see more games where supernatural stuff is dropped completely and it's just keeping things real. But I think this kind of gets away with it, this one.
Yeah, I do agree. At that moment, I was okay, this is interesting. But I just generally thought, I maybe wasn't expecting. I don't know if I'd seen it in trailers or whatever, but I was like, okay, this does this thing. I will say this game only has 10 or so achievements, and I had 7 or so by the end. I was like, okay, I've never actually ever gone back on one of these games ever to go for collectibles, to see alternative routes. No. But I was like, okay, there's only 3. I might as well hoover them up, whatever. And in that choice thing, I've seen both, and one of them is so much better than the other one.
Really?
Obviously, we'll discuss it. Yeah, on the spoilercast. Yeah, I chose one, and I told everyone. I was like, oh, bloody hell! But we'll have to absolutely discuss that on the spoilercast. But yeah, sorry, James, you were saying. No,
I wasn't saying anything.
Okay, cool.
I thought we could... Okay,
going back to you.
I'll jump in then. Why not? Can we talk about the fact that this is Life is Strange 3? Other than the fact that obviously the money came from somewhere else, so they couldn't call it that. It is a Life is Strange game, isn't it?
it's a Life is Strange game in as much it's another sort of narrative adventure with the same kind of mechanics.
The exact same mechanics, same feel, same everything. Like
I don't think it's fair to say it's a Life is Strange style game for sure, but I don't. I mean,
but it's the same template, and that's fine. Well, I'm not having a go. It's just interesting that obviously Microsoft turned up and opened the wallet, and they went, all right, well, let's do another one of those, but Square Enix own the name Life is Strange, so we'll just call it something else.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I see both of your points of view, actually, because, it is very Life is Strange. Very Life is Strange, But then at the same time, I think the themes and the way they're going about exploring those themes is very not Life is Strange. Like, Life is Strange is very focused on other characters than the ones you're playing, right? And this isn't. This is very focused on the characters you're playing as. And again, Life is Strange, for all its decent writing, it is very clear when someone is being bad and when someone is being good. And sometimes it flips that. Like, it will say, that character that you thought was being really bad, actually, the intentions were good and this is why, right? That's fine. But in that moment, you know who's the good guys and who are the bad guys, right? Here, it doesn't do that at all. And it's kind of really surprised me with how grey some of the moral conversations have been. You know what I mean? And it's a tricky subject to talk about because, again, if you've not been following it, it's one of the characters in it is transgender and it's talking directly about the transition and returning to a community where you are known as, after you've...
you're known as your assigned gender rather than having... And it's...
the way it deals with that is not and it probably rightly so, it's not black and white. It's a very... it's an interesting subject. Like, I'm fascinated they've done it like this, actually. I really am, because some of the conversations are difficult to listen to. They're difficult to understand, certainly from, our point of view. So, we'll have no insight into whether this is doing the right things or saying the right things. But I think it's very interesting that they've gone down the complexity route around this theme, and I hate calling it a theme because it's a life for a lot of people, but it's interesting that they're looking at the complexities around it rather than just flat out, having black and white conversations, good versus bad.
Yeah, like no one straight up gives Tyler any abuse or anything. It's just, as you say,
and you look at the way they dealt with racism in season 2 of Life is Strange.
Yeah,
or series 2 of Life is Strange.
Some of that was very overt, wasn't it? Yeah.
And this could go down that route, and maybe it needs to.
Maybe it will at some point. But it's a lot of it is just little misunderstandings, nuances. People kind of saying the wrong thing here and there, sorry, I'm trying not to spoil anything or give too much away for the spoiler cast, but I think it's a good portrayal of even those small comments could still wear you down and frustrate you. But so far it hasn't gone for anyone being openly abusive. It's just, and it's because the fact that it's Tyler is, unless you were told he was trans, you probably wouldn't guess. But it's still the issues he faces, despite being a completely passing trans man. There's still people being like, "Oh wow, I didn't think you'd actually look like a guy." Comments people almost trying to be supportive but completely fucking it up.
100%. It's just
a bit more nuanced than I'd expected.
I think that's the separate. I think for me that's the separation of where Life is Strange is, because Life is Strange has always been a very good versus bad thing, and this one is more of a let's really nail down into the complexities of language and the problems with language, and also intention is being questioned and looked at and stuff. And I think that is what's, and Life is Strange in many places is a very funny game. There are some very funny moments and some nice moments, some sweet moments. This is real down to business, isn't it? This is,
I mean, people do try and make jokes, but they're not funny.
They do, but I
don't know if that's I don't know if that's an intentional tonal thing or just a failure of the writing. I'm leaning towards the latter.
I certainly feel that I know less about these characters after the first episode than I do in the first episode of all the other Life is Strange games.
Like certainly with Life is Strange 2, you get such a brilliant snapshot of Sean's normal life before everything goes nuts, whereas this feels like they talk about... for those who haven't played it, there's been this 10-year gap where these two siblings haven't seen each other. And it's kind of as if basically nothing happened in that time. I mean, I'm sure that maybe they'll delve into it more, but it's like you hear loads about the time before they were separated, and obviously now you're seeing everything about them being reunited. But that gap, I don't know, you don't really get much of an impression of what their lives were like. Certainly with Alison, I think you hear more about Tyler's life in that 10-year period than you do about, like, I don't really know who Alison is at this point.
That was one of the things that I found the most, I wouldn't say difficult to understand, but there's a lot of sort of revelations that happen there, and that I kept on thinking, would they not have thought about this before this moment? Do you know what I mean?
Why are they suddenly being like, let's now unravel this whole mystery? Suddenly, after just sitting on it for 10 years.
I'm equally as worried about it as I am excited about it, I think is the right way of putting it. The second episode needs to be really good to, I don't know, there's got to be a lot in that second episode to push things forward, because as I said, it doesn't start getting going until the end of this episode.
Yeah, and there's only 3 episodes, right?
Yeah, 3 episodes. And this one's about 3 hours or so in length. And like for the first half or up to about 2/3 mark, I'm like, this is really slow.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, the supernatural ability, would it be better if it was without that? I thought it'd just be a straight story, and it definitely ramps up. And in the end, I was like, excellent, because I was thinking, am I really going on the show and say I thought that was rubbish? Because the first half onwards, the first half was just really slow.
It's the same,
not doing much. I was like, but what happens in the last quarter of it was really interesting. Thought it was an excellent ending, really excellent. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in the next one. I will say, overall though, I think the game looks great. I know that this must still be the same engine from the previous Life is Strange games, but it feels like it's been tightened up somehow. It looks nice. I didn't have any.
Yeah, I mean, it looks decent, but I don't think it runs that well.
Really?
It certainly didn't run that well for me. I was getting lots of frame dropping in the outdoors
That's
areas.
a shame.
See, that's really weird, because it was fine on my broken Xbox. I didn't have any of that problem.
It was probably running at like 720p.
Lower resolution.
I didn't have any frame issues. I know Scientologist has mentioned in the past when he's played like Life is Strange, saying he's had those audio issues. I've never had them, but this I did kind of have that, where I would start one bit dialogue, and then the other one would start after, because I hit X. Sometimes it worked really well, actually. I might have pressed X and the dialogue waited until when that one ended, then the next one started after. But a couple of times it talked over the dialogue. But I think I like the way they've sort of tidied up the way you choose dialogue in the game. It feels like it's easier to read, and that, I don't know if that's just like the visual icons or whatever they've done, but that feels nice. I will say actually choosing or selecting a response, that felt really slow. Like sometimes it felt like it would be like a second or two after I pressed it. That it wasn't just like a bang instant I pressed it, here's a dialogue. That felt kind of slow, and I wasn't sure if that was on purpose to because it's a slower paced game than I would say other Life is Strange games are, and maybe it was done on purpose for that reason, or maybe it's just
that's true. Yeah, because a lot of
whatever reason.
Life is Strange quite regularly has like some really tense bits, whereas there's been none of that here, is there?
And like that dialogue is often quite snappy and funny in places where this it felt like it's much slower, and but I think overall I think it seems to be working well, and I like the sort of improvements they've done. It just feels a bit more tightened up in terms of actual gameplay. I really liked the puzzle. I thought the puzzle was good, and I thought it was probably a better puzzle than I've done in many Life is Strange games.
Shame there's only one. But
but it'd be good if there's more. But I like that. I like it wasn't just like a go around the edge of the room and hit X on every drawer or stuff you'd normally do in these games. I thought that was interesting.
There is another puzzle that goes absolutely nowhere. Did anyone?
Oh, also there is 2 puzzles. Yeah. Actually, the other one doesn't go nowhere, does it?
Which one's that?
Let's save this.
Let's save it.
We don't need to talk about this, do we?
Okay, yeah.
Here. Yeah. Do you not think?
No, it's probably save it, yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited the fact that there is another one coming this week. I mean, this is the sort of stuff we wanted for these games for ages. Like a regular cadence. I mean, this is almost too quick. I think it's brilliant. I mean, at one point, we were like, these things were monthly. It'd be amazing on the first day of the month. We know, but every week, this is fantastic. And I'm excited to see where the next one goes. Mostly because of how this one ended, or the latter part. If that latter part didn't happen, I'd be like, well, I mean, obviously I'll play it, but I wouldn't exactly be jumping for joy.
I agree.
It all changed in that last bit.
Cool. All right, then. Right, and I mean, I'll just quickly give a brief shout out to Rogue Company, which I'm still playing and really enjoying. I played it on Switch as well. I'm fine. Yeah, won a few games on there. I was quite happy.
Really,
with it.
Playing with the Joy-Cons or?
Yeah,
really?
playing on
fuck all with those.
Yeah, in handheld mode.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was alright. It was fine.
Maybe I'm just shit at games.
I mean, they're dishing out codes now, like left, right, and centre, so you can get a code easily. I highly suggest you go and seek one out, because I am really enjoying that game. I'm enjoying how quick it is, how good the shooting feels, the various different upgrades that you can buy throughout the match. Now I'm getting my head around the game modes. I'm really enjoying that game. It's well worth checking out. None of you guys have played it yet?
Not yet.
No, I don't even know what it is. I've no idea what it even is.
He's talked about it like 3 weeks on the bounce.
Yeah, just a competitive shooter, James. Okay. That's all it is, really. But it's really good fun. Cool. That was it from me. Matt.
I was still playing Linkin Park Beat Saber. Still good fun. But I guess more importantly, I played Spelunky on Sunday.
Yeah, you did. How did you find it?
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Good,
really good. Great music, really fun to play. Again, I had no idea really what it was about, but I'm loving it so far. I got to level 2, 3, so I got out of the mines, and then I got to the forest area, and I'm most of my deaths are because I'm just like not thinking, or I'm just like forgetting.
That's
things.
what that game is. 100%.
But
the traps and stuff.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just like full damage, or not remembering that if you go past that certain trap, it's going to fire an arrow unless you throw something down.
But it's it's so smartly designed, like in terms of so you can't see basically. The distance that you can see up to is as far as you can fall without taking any damage. So
really?
Yeah. So if you I think can you sort of look down to see a bit further?
Yeah. You can look any direction up.
That's right. Yeah. So basically, if you look down and you can't see the platform, you will take fall damage if you jump.
But if you see a platform, you won't.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, okay, I'll go through these mines and these levels pretty slowly, but then after 2.5 minutes or whatever it is, a ghost chases you and kills you instantly. So again, it's also forcing you to get through these things pretty quickly. So by the end, I was being much quicker about my sort of traversal around these levels.
Using women as human shields against spiders. I saw that bit.
Well,
that was a low moment, wasn't it?
That was an accident. Yeah, carrying my dead dog's corpse over the. into the next level, or trying to. No, but I'm absolutely loving it so far. Yeah, I think it works well as a stream game, and it was fun to play. Excited to see how far I get. So great, and the second one's out on the 15th of September. So I might find that I love it so much, and I might go straight into that. Who knows? But yeah, loving Spelunky so far. I had loads of people watching who had been put hundreds of hours into this game. So lots of people know lots of things about it. I've still haven't really experimented or bought an awful lot from the store. Mostly I'm still trying to get the basics down. But there's tons of items.
With the chat yet?
No, of course not. No.
What do you mean, of course not? You were going crazy during the Sekiro stuff.
Okay, yeah, but that's because you had Go Doom and coming in wrecking stuff. No, it's a nice vibe on Sunday. So I haven't bought much stuff on the shop because I'm still trying to get the basics down. But it feels like there's loads of abilities and items you can get, which change things. But yeah, Spelunky. I mean, I don't know how old it is. It was on 360, wasn't it originally? Yeah. But
and I think even that, it was one of those ones that sort of existed as a
flash game.
Yeah, like a freeware thing for a long time. And then, that 360 version was like, right, here's actually finally the commercial release of it. It's been around a long time.
It looks great. The music's brilliant. I love the way it controls. And there's some people tweeted me before saying, make sure you use D-pad, not analog sticks. Yeah. And I'm like, tell me this isn't going to control shit like Metroid. But thankfully,
doesn't control shit. But.
Thankfully, okay. We'll agree to disagree. But thankfully, this feels great to control. I do kind of sometimes forget, and sometimes I use analog stick. But no, it's I'm loving it so far.
Oh, I'm glad.
Cool.
Yeah. How much do you play, Dave? You said you played loads, didn't you?
No. I played one stream. I played it for about 2.5 hours.
I thought you played loads on 360 before the streaming.
No, Michael's a big fan of it, wasn't he? But
he talks about it a lot.
He's fucking completed it, hasn't he? 100
I think he had,
all the way to hell, whatever it is.
Really?
Bottom.
In one life.
What's it?
Oh my god. Wait, so you're going through every level.
Well, no. There's you open up portals and stuff, don't you?
Oh yeah.
I think he might have done it all the way, in one go.
No, I don't think.
I'm not surprised.
It's
one of those where you set up shortcuts to the later bits, which is cool because it means you can go straight to them and you can learn them. But actually,
practice. Yeah.
If you want to complete it, you're probably better off going from the start because you're getting all items and stuff and upgrades and what have you along the way.
Right.
So it's
the few times I've got out the first, so the 1 to 4 are the mines, and then I presume 2 to 4 and so on and so forth for different levels. And then once I've done the mines, I met this man called the Tunnel Man, and he was like, I'm building a shortcut or whatever he said.
Yeah, that's
but I'm going to need some rope. I'm going to need this. I'm going to need that. So I think I'm still giving him stuff. So
that was my favourite moment of the stream where you were just going, I can't believe I can't get up there. Oh no, I'm stuck now. And everyone's going, rope. Use the rope. Just use the rope.
I'm saving them
ropes. It took you ages to use it.
Saving the ropes.
Did you forget that you had ropes, or were you just trying to save up your ropes?
A little bit of both. Mostly forgetting, but also I was like, after just throwing bombs everywhere, and someone was like, no, you really... one great tip, I think it was Archimedes or someone in chat, said actually you can get from the start of a level to the actual exit without needing ropes or ladders. Like the levels that are they dynamically generated? Or are they designed, but there's just so many of them that they change so often?
It's all random.
No, I think certain sections are designed, right?
I think it's all random.
Pieces them together.
But obviously it's controlled randomness. Derek used some loads of interesting, I think there's a big video he did on it or an article or something explaining how it knows, right, if it's randomly generated a certain bit, then in order to make it fair, here's what needs to happen around it and stuff. It's really interesting.
Oh, cool. But yeah, the tip that Archimedes said, about the fact that you can get from the start to the exit without requiring bombs or ladders. I'm okay, that's really good. So I was making sure I was going around trying to find the way down rather than just bombing, and then starting the next level with 0 bombs. But I did mostly forget the ropes. But by the end, I learned the ropes, so we're all good. And I'm excited to play more on Sunday.
Good. All right, Sean.
I've just been playing Tell Me Why.
Excellent.
I mean, obviously, a bit of flight sim and stuff, but nothing new to say about it, really. It's cool. Although, have you seen, I say have you seen, I know full well you have, but for the sake of the show, have you seen all the pictures people have been sharing about following the, is it Hurricane Laura? Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Well, let me tell you all about it then, Dave. I had no idea. I knew the game had live weather, but I thought it was just like, in this area it is sunny. Yeah, exactly. Like, and here it is raining. And this, that, and the other. But no, it like fully models like cloud activity and stuff in ways that I could not have dreamed of. And people have been flying around like where Hurricane Laura is, and it looks absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously I'm making light of something that's going to like ruin people's lives here, but
I mean that's the thing. So like, I mean, the pictures I see on Twitter and stuff look absolutely stunning on someone's like insane rig. It looks unbelievable, but also like what people could be like storm chasing now when there's like a massive natural disaster.
My favourite thing about that was that the person that tweeted all those incredible photos of them flying into the storm, and someone had replied and went, "Yeah, I took some screenshots too," and they clearly had like a way lower spec PC, and it looked like they're flying in GTA 3.
Just fog everywhere. It's like Torok. It's like fog everywhere.
Mate, don't send a screenshot reply like that.
Just yet another incredibly impressive facet of the technology behind that game. It is a marvel. But no, that's about it for me.
Cool. Then let's get on to the questions.
If you want to send us a question, visit tcgs.co/dear TCGS, or just do whatever you want, I guess. Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS compadres," but she's CO.
She's absolutely lost it. She has lost it.
No, man, that's good. I think this is
scraping the ground where the barrel used to be. It's over, Mary. It's over.
She says, hopefully this form is still a valid way to get in touch, and you haven't switched to carrier pigeons in the interim. Regarding the current discussion around simulators and how pleasant they sound, is there a profession, niche hobby, or otherwise boring activity you wish were made into a sim? Keep up the excellent banter and keep up the top-notch editing, Dave, Sean, and Matt. No mention of James. Profession, niche hobby, or otherwise boring activity you wish were made into a sim? I mean, my
boring.
I don't know. Go on, sorry.
My first thought was like a woodwork type thing.
I'm pretty sure that exists. I'm pretty sure that exists.
But like, I mean, like chopping trees down and making sort of huge wood sculptures, or maybe like stone sculptures.
Is that boring though? Does that count as boring?
Well,
it's niche, isn't it? I think
it's definitely niche. It's a niche hobby, isn't it?
Well, I guess
making like wood structures.
I would like something that was Honda Jazz car maintenance. That would be quite good.
It has to be a Honda Jazz.
Is there like
checking the oil on that?
Yeah, like getting a rental car.
And it's just like, and every time you work on one, it's basically fine, and you just comment on like what a reliable car it is.
yeah. There's a bit where you got to tweet about it. It's like, I know it's cheap and it breaks a lot, but it costs a $5 for a car.
You got paid. You got to get paid for DLC James Farley expansion, where all of those options are just like, I fucking hate it. Ironing. Give it ironing. Yeah, I'll do that.
I'd probably play an ironing sim.
You would.
Like Dynasty Warriors, just clearing out all the bad shit. Just smearing it off the map.
All the creases, making sure you got the heat right, firing up the steam.
Squirting the water on it first.
Squirting the water at the kid that's playing next to you. That's what I constantly do. Just squirting the water over at him before they're ironing. And then have a lovely little shirt.
Yeah.
Maybe you can connect to the Sims. And all your Sims can walk around in crisp shirts for the rest of the time. Yeah, I'm up for that. That's good.
That'd be good. I'm trying to think, because obviously, like, my niche hobby, I mean, is probably photography, but then we've had photography games.
Pokemon
Snap, and all the others. I can't. I don't know what else. I mean, obviously, and like got into yo-yo for a bit. There is a yo-yo VR game. I can't remember. I don't know where that's up to. I know someone was working on it and it actually looked pretty cool. But yeah.
Is there a running a casino game?
Oh, it's got to be.
There needs to be if there isn't.
Yeah,
like a casino, like themed casino, where you've got to spot the people that are counting cards and You could take them out back and beat them up, and all that stuff. All that stuff, breaking up fights.
Is there like a game where you can do like the weekly shop?
Oh, fuck, I'd play that.
Why would you want to do that?
I'd do that.
I mean, it's a boring activity. I'm thinking, I
imagine you doing the weekly shop in your house, Matt, is a lot like how they do it in Big Brother.
I don't do it in my house, I do it in the shop.
Yeah, I know. You know what I mean? Really? You don't do the online stuff? I thought you'd be all over that. You get drones flying your little plastic bags of and then you find out Sean's flying a drone and it flies off in 20 miles and I end up with your shopping.
$5 to get
that.
I
don't do online shopping anymore.
Oh, yeah, $5 to get that one. Maybe that's what we need to do. Start dropping in jokes that only the Patreon people could get.
It's like when we started getting microtransactions in games. It's like, well, if you want to see this level, it's another tenner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like a shopping simulator. Obviously, the temptation would just be to bomb it round, but then that will affect you negatively. So you have
supermarket sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you have to do it like sensibly, and maybe you'll go in like things will be out of stock, or you've got a list and it says like get bird's eye waffles, and they haven't got bird's eye. You're like, oh, do I risk, the family being less than happy if I get own brand? What will I do?
Game at the end. What queues moving quicker? Which one should I go in?
Yeah. Do I just try and do it all myself and like the standard sort of like scan it? Quick
tills?
No,
I've got a bottle of alcohol, which means I'm going to have to stand there and wait for someone to come over and swipe their card and look
there's
at your
different
face.
Like people like at the tills, but you can maybe tell who they are based on like a certain like maybe hair colours. Okay, I know that's that type of person, and they're strict or they're not strict. I've got 11 items and I'm in a 10 item queue. Oh no, it's Brenda. Oh no, that's a strict character class.
Have you noticed now that when you go shopping, you go through the self-serve and you try and get like a bottle of beer or whatever, they look at you for longer to check because you've got a mask on, so they can't instantly tell whether you're like.
Yeah, I got ID.
No, don't do that to me, Dave. I've got no hair. And what I have got is all grey.
Yeah, I got ID, but I had like hat on. Well, I don't know.
It's looking good, man.
There's no 19-year-old. There's no 16-year-old walking around with a beard like that.
Challenge 25, but I had the mask
you don't look 25 either.
I had the mask on. I had a hat on.
Yeah, but doesn't your beard pop out the bottom of the mask?
I've trimmed a bit shorter, but I mean, it probably did. But anyway, obviously they were worried. I was like, I'm 37.
Can I just say, for anyone who heard me enthusiastically agreeing with Dave when he said about getting his age checked for buying beer, that is because I also get checked just for buying like root beer. Still flags up as
why you?
Huh?
You don't look. What is this?
No, I mean, I'm just like on obviously when you go self-scan. So yeah, even just buying like root beer or like alcohol-free ciders, you still have to get checked. It's ridiculous.
Oh, they come over and look at you, don't they?
And then they realise it's not even actually booze, and they're like, yeah, whatever. I think it's because it's like presents similarly to actual alcoholic drinks. It's like considered like a gateway. I don't know.
They do it when I've got Harry next to me as well, and I think, well, he's 6, so I'm not. I wasn't 11.
Do the maths.
I suppose it could be.
We could do for the game. Nightmare mode where you've just got the kid with you.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's basically hard mode shopping.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And you have to avoid the toy aisle with the fucking Paw Patrol shit in it, or else you're going to get screamed at for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and there'll be like Christmas DLC, but it's not like Christmas DLC. It's like Christmas themed. There's like also there's like 1,000 people in the
it's just
store.
horrible.
It's like, this is a nightmare. I'm just coming for a sandwich.
We've created a good game, although I do still want that casino one as well because that just sounds too good. Too good.
Big Shop Simulator. That's what we're calling it.
All right, next.
Liz Walker.
That was, to be fair, I don't usually say this, but that was a solid answer to a good question. That I think brilliant.
Not often we get one of those, is it?
We were struggling at the start, let's face it, but we came through in the end. Go
on. Liz Walker says, hello, TCGS crew. I've no idea which form is the right one anymore. Hope this reaches you. The other week, you guys discussed who you dated in Mass Effect, and it reminded me of a frequent argument I've had with my husband over his actions in the Mass Effect series. In Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 1, he dated Liara only to cheat on her with Tali in Mass Effect 2 and 3. He argued that it wasn't cheating because, spoilers, Shepard dies at the end of Mass Effect 2. Hey, what? Oh, the beginning of Mass Effect 2. And you actually play a clone created from Shepard's brainstem, therefore absolving him of any guilt.
You can try and explain that. I'm a clone.
It's fine.
She says, have you guys made any similar arguments to justify terrible in-game actions? I mean, that is an appalling justification, isn't it? Oh, it's not technically the same person.
Joe had a weird reaction to me playing video games and like the character on screen having sex with another character. Joe always had a weird reaction because, you know, she's not got a problem with adult me, my relationship with adult material. She's just not got a problem with that. Like, what I'm saying is that she's not strict with things. But when it comes to like her sitting in the room and a character on screen was having sex with another character, she was like, well, you're controlling it. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not me. And I'm not controlling this bit. It's just a cutscene.
But David, you're not wearing any trousers.
Yeah, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Was it also just because it was weird because it was like PS2 era?
Well, I was going to say, I don't think New's ever been weird about it, but I remember it might have been, was it the original Dragon Age or Dragon Age 2? I can't remember. I think it was one of the Dragon Age games where I was just like, by the way, just in case you think I'm actually getting anything out of this is what the sex scenes look like. Not good.
You don't see anything.
Yeah.
And she's like, but why have you got a hard on?
I was like, look, that's unrelated.
Yeah, I've brought a new drone.
Did she know about the bayonet thing?
About the what? Oh, yeah.
The bayonet thing.
Yes, she's aware.
Oh, she knows all about that. Okay. Fine. Okay.
In terms of similar arguments to justify terrible in-game actions, I remember when I finished Fable 1 and I was like pure good the entire time. And I finished the game and I just sort of thought like, I've arbitrarily decided that my character doesn't feel like he got enough thanks for saving the world, and he now resents it. So he then just spent his days just like topless, just eating pies and drinking booze and kicking chickens around and just being a nuisance.
So good. Matt, you got to play Fable 2.
Yeah.
So, sorry, the original question was, what's the most morally...
have you ever made any basically really bad arguments to justify in-game behaviour?
Oh, no, not really. I've never had to really argue over anything. The scenario that I mentioned earlier, it was kind of like, no, seriously, I'm not the person in the game. I don't know if you've noticed. But yeah, that come up. That was weird. James, I bet you got loads. I mean, the fucking games you play.
My entire playthrough of Heavy Rain was that, wasn't it? Was like trying to justify terrible decisions that I'd made like throughout it. It's always like that.
Yeah, I know.
It's terrible.
Yeah, you were very strange playing that game. Deciding not to. Yeah, I mean, every game you play, the moral choices are quite weird. And then for season 2 of Life is Strange, Matt with his Choco Crisp thing.
Yes. No, that wasn't my fault. That was the language you used wasn't.
Yeah, but there was that, and also the fact
it was that there was you ripping everything off that you could.
Yeah, you stealing throughout the whole thing.
I had to survive. It's me and my brother. Okay. Look, I think if anyone listens to the spoiler cast, I think you're on my side. I think you knew I would do anything to protect my brother, and if it means
didn't you kill the animal as well?
Well, because I wasn't sure if that was going to kill us or kill my brother.
Okay.
So yes, I will kill anything that stands in our way. I need to protect my family.
This is how fascism starts.
You didn't even kill the animal, did you? You got your little brother to kill the animal.
You had to do it for you.
Yeah, but I mean, again, we didn't know that saber-toothed tiger, or whatever it was going to kill us, and he had it in the air. So just do what you need to do.
It was a family cat. It was a family-owned pet.
It was a saber-toothed fucking tiger. It's a saber-toothed lion or whatever it was. I don't know.
It was the neighbour's cat. That's what it was.
Well, we didn't know if it had shots.
Got tetanus all over him.
Also worth the risk.
Oodles says, I'm creeping into my mid-30s and I've recently discovered I'm extremely into a new hobby, Gunpla, in which you build little Gundam models like a nerd. Yeah, I love a bit of Gunpla, mate. It's good stuff. Have you guys discovered a new hobby later in life that's absolutely shocked you? For example, Dave getting into Star Wars.
Yeah, that shocked me. Yeah, that's probably my example then, isn't it? It's really. I was really shocked by how into that I got by the end of Star Wars. Yeah. It was a bit of a wake-up call.
So yeah, I know I've got loads of these. I mean, obviously, like the whole streaming thing, like actually getting sort of into the techie side of it, yo-yos, drones.
It's not weird. Sorry, I should say before we get loads of emails, it's not weird. It's just it's strange how easily you can fall into that stuff. Yeah.
Loads of shit like that.
Sorry, Matt, were you going to have a go at me for calling it weird?
No. I was going to say, is that shocking? But
oh yeah, it is definitely shocking because if you remember, like when streaming first, started hitting not the mainstream, but whatever, we were all very our nose was very turned up. I mean, even when it was like the PS4 stuff, it was like, why would you want to sit and watch someone play a game when I could be playing a game? But here we are. Ego is the answer. Ego.
Marble runs. Fucking love building marble runs. There you go.
That's a good one. Yeah. That is a good one. I got into that for a bit. Also watching Marble Run videos. Marble Run World Cup and all that sort of stuff. Also, I think YouTube really highlights that. Recently, I'm on a thing of watching people take their driving tests. I'm watching loads of them.
Oh my god! Have you got the time?
That's what I wonder because I can't relate to that.
Right, for starters, James, you spend about 400 hours a week gaming, so
exactly that's my hobby. Exactly. That's why I don't.
Well, mine's watching driving tests. So what about that?
But we were saying like adding new things, and like I don't add new things because I don't feel I got time to do that because I just play games or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, driving tests, get on it.
I don't think so how are they filmed? Is that a dash cam or what?
Dash cam, yeah. And I fast forward them. Like the videos are like 45 minutes long, and I usually just scroll forward to. They very handily flash up when there's a serious error. So I watch those bits and then watch them being told that major error or whatever, a major fault, and then I watch them getting their feedback at the end of it, which is always really awkward. And the guy that I do watch a lot of took a driving test with a different instructor, and him getting the feedback is one of the funniest things I've seen for ages. Like he was like, "You're the instructor. Just tell me what. Well, you got 2 serious faults," and he was like, "I don't agree with that one. Actually, I don't agree with that one. I definitely knew where I was going on that bit." It's like, a little bit of taste of your own medicine, mate. But yeah, that's what I'm into. That's my current thing.
Yeah, I don't think I do much really. I mean. No?
Electric skateboard, that wasn't a new hobby that came out of nowhere. Electric skateboard.
Yeah. Well, it's not a hobby, that's just like a form of transport.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it a hobby. Do you call it a train a hobby?
You do, because you're like me, Matt, in that you'll sort of have the inkling to get into something and then oh, whoops, I've spent 300 hours watching YouTube videos about it. And
yeah, I mean, I'm thorough, for sure. But I wouldn't call it a hobby. I mean, I haven't actually got to use that thing for ages, sadly, because... I don't know. I don't think I have got any weird hobbies, sadly. And it's like a time thing. I feel like I barely got time to do
Yo-yo was another one that you got into out of nowhere?
Well, I mean, when I was 16.
Yeah, but again...
And also last year.
Well, not out of nowhere. It's because it was hoisted upon us.
It was a bit.
Well, not out of nowhere. Okay.
The answer is no. All right. Although, actually, a Gunpla, I mean, I'm not into that, but I do follow, like, Gunplastagram on Instagram. Oh, yeah. And I mean, you must follow that.
I don't, but sure. I might now.
Oh, I mean, the Gunpla, whatever, Gunpla on there are amazing. And I'm like, wow, this looks so good. And I do see lots of people on Twitter.
It's good fun, man. It's just a nice.
Doing it. Like, that does look good, but no, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'll be terrible.
It's just a nice little sort of meditative thing to do, and then you get a cool little toy robot at the end of it. And
then what, you put that in a bin after?
Yeah, pretty much.
What do you?
Unless you buy one of those cases to present them all in,
Yeah, I don't think I'm about to do that.
Fair enough. This next one, I think we've answered it before, but it's just quite nice to talk about. This comes from Nifflin Musquirts. Is that rude? I feel like that.
I don't know if we can say that.
I think that's probably rude.
I mean, I want that to be the title of the show. But that's just someone's name.
They said, "How did you all meet each other? It seems like you've been friends for ages."
I mean, yes, we have, right? But also, here's the history.
Okay,
prison.
So
it was prison.
Yeah.
It was prison. Do you remember those times with the?
Oh, I shouldn't have killed that man, but I did, and then
here we are.
The
rest is history.
I met James Farley first. Let's go in chronological order.
All focused around you. Yeah, go on.
Well, no, I mean literally, that was the first meeting between any of us.
It's the linchpin.
Right.
It's the
I mean, everything does revolve around me, Sean. Let's be honest.
Go on. Okay. Just spokes attached to Dave. Go on.
Sean, I mean,
no, it's funny because it sounds like I'm having a go, but it is also factually correct. So
thank you for getting that bit in. Yeah, I met James at a friend's house in Birmingham. We were playing, and it was the first time I met that friend as well. So I can't really say that.
I thought you met him on Xbox Live.
Yeah,
okay. We did, yeah, but we met in person.
In person,
changing the story.
We met on Xbox Live. Xbox Live first started. James and I met through RLLM UK forum, and we used to play Xbox Live when that first launched. Really got on with another guy called Slady, and we decided to meet up and stay at Slady's house for the weekend. Had a fantastic time. The first time, I mean, I've told this story before, but the first time. So I got up there, met Slady, went to his house. We were gaming for a bit. Then we heard that James was arriving, so we went out to flag down the cab he was in to say, "Look, this is where we are." You know, that's how it used to happen before Google Maps. You had to go out inside your house to say, "Yeah, the house is here. Stop here." We got there. We saw his cab coming. We flagged it down, and for whatever reason, Slady had a big he bottled it and ran off. So, I don't know why. Did he ever explain that to you, James?
No, it was no.
A bit weird?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Go on. So James is arriving in the cab, seeing us flagging down, and then one of them runs off as fast as he could. James gets out, says, "You're right." I was like, "You're right." He said, "Where's Slady gone?" And I went, "I don't know. I don't know if we'll see him again."
He's gone over there somewhere.
His house is there, but he's just gone. Very bizarre first meeting. And then we kept meeting up. Like, that would become sort of we'd do that every couple of times a year, didn't we?
Yeah. That was pretty much what it was.
Then I started JoyPod, and Matt used to email in, slagging the show off and telling us how to change it, and we just ignored him.
I mean, I messaged you on first couple of episodes saying, like, this is good-ish, but you could be so much better.
I thought, well, let's give him a portion of the show, see how he gets on. How did that go, Matt?
Very well, very successful.
Did it?
I'm not talking about Moroli. I'm talking about the bit
That's
before.
what I'm talking about.
I've completely forgotten about that. I'd love to hear that again.
Did you not remember we gave Matt a big portion of the show, and listeners were not happy about it?
Yeah, because the bit before was all right, but anyway, that bit not so much. Anyway, I was well loved, so apart from that point, it was too late.
Then we met at a Roll Muck Meet forum meetup in Bath. Yeah, really got on.
Hit it off with the office quotes, and that was it, really, wasn't it?
And then we were looking for because James almost become a third chair on JoyPod. Like, we were going to turn it from a 2-man show into a 3-man show. James was on the show quite a few times, but then you moved to China, right?
Yeah. I was supposed to do it, and then I was like, "Yeah, sorry, I've got to go because I." No,
you did a few episodes, and we were like, "This feels good. A 3-man show feels good." And then you had to move to China, and we were like, "I still like the idea of a 3-man show, so let's get a few people on." So we had a few guests on, filling that third chair, and then Sean did it once, and it was just felt right. Sean come in and just slotted in with and there was no awkwardness, no worries or whatever. And so we said, "Do you want to be the third chair?" And then James come back about 6 months later and go, "Right, so am I coming back on JoyPod?" And we were like, "Well, no, Sean's here now." So that's how I met everyone. And then we probably met at like a EGX or something for the first time. Right?
Yeah, one of the London ones.
So when was the first time you met Matt and James? You met Matt first, right? And then James.
Yeah, because I met you and Matt at the same night.
Yeah. Same EGX meet.
Yeah, because so one of the reasons this is funny. So the next question is from Chod, and he says, "Why does Matt drink beer with his elbow up in the air?" And Matt did that the first time I met him. He's been doing it for
straight
like 15 years.
I've been doing it since I was like 17 or 18. So
yeah, can I explain that? Because the first time you did it in front of me, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And you went, it shows confidence. The rule is the higher higher your elbow, the more of a lad you are. Is what you said to me.
Do you know, I remember hearing that explanation as well, like quite a long time ago.
That is an explanation. What? Okay, do I go into this now?
Well, no. Can I just let me finish this, because I thought, oh, that's really funny, and every time you were doing it, it was making me laugh a lot. But then I noticed you were doing it all the time, and it wasn't just for that joke. And I was like, what's going on here? And then I noticed you were doing it on streams and stuff.
It wasn't just for a... when you say that joke, what do you mean that joke?
The higher the elbow, the more of a lad you are.
Yeah, I mean, it stems from that. So, yeah, I'm always doing it.
What? So it wasn't a joke? You actually believe that?
No, it started out as a joke, and then like me and all that's just something that me and my mates from home do because it's funny.
Even when you're on streams with a load of people who have no idea that it's a thing.
Yeah, because then it also then ends up as like a punchline of jokes, and if like you're trying to catch like the eye of your mate across like a busy bar, you do it, and basically so it all started off like 7 of us really close friends from Bognor, little shitty seaside town down south. In like the one pub Bognor had at the time, and you see townies. I mean, I guess town. We wouldn't call them scallies. That's different, but townies in there, people who thought they're they're wearing their Ben Sherman, they're wearing their kickers or whatever they're wearing in 1997 or whatever.
Rockports.
Well, I don't even know Rockports and Bognor. But they had their shirts on. They're coming in thinking the dog's bollocks because they bought a carling aged 18, and us 7 nerds in the corner. Not talking to girls, obviously.
Too scary, isn't it? Too scary.
Like, too scary. Also, what's the point? I'm happy with my mates in a way. That's better.
Off,
I'm not going to ruin my night. We realised basically, there are always guys who are basically drinking with with their elbows up, and then we all said, okay, well, that's clearly the lad line, and the higher your elbow, the bigger of a lad you are. And then like me and all my mates have been doing it ever since, and. Yeah, that's just what we still do now.
Does Matt Morley still do that?
No, he wasn't part of Mag 7.
He loves Matt Morley so much, James. He loves it.
I know, because it's brilliant. It's just so brilliant. Like
No, he wasn't part of our crew, so no.
All right, so you met him at the meet, but when did you two first meet?
I mean, Farley?
I have no idea.
Oh, sorry.
No, Farley and Matt.
I mean, we played on... I played with like you guys on Xbox Live, like with...
yeah, but that was... You'd already known him by then, right?
No, actually, no.
I think that's the first time we like spoke was when I joined your, cinema and everyone playing on Gears and stuff.
Right. Okay.
Right. And then I can't remember. I can't.
We must have come up to Leeds, right? That must have been the first time.
Yeah, I think that's what we did.
Yeah. That must have been one of the first times.
Was that the bowling incident?
I wasn't there for that because that bowling incident was you and Cinnabar and everyone.
No. I mean the Connect bowling incident. Sorry. I'm not talking about... That was the one where I had to bowl as fast as I could, and James... I thought James was going to die from laughing so hard.
Yeah, that was good, yeah. So it's been a fair few years, fair few years.
Yeah, it has been. Sorry, you didn't have a story about when you first met James, did you?
No, sure? I was going to say, I can't remember. It must have been an EGX, was it, James?
It was either an EGX, or it may even been...
The wedding.
We did that PlayStation VR thing.
No way.
No, because you were both at my wedding.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. No, we've met before then. No, it must have been an EGX.
Was it the EGX where we got the free on live?
On live.
No, I wasn't.
No, because I was there. But basically, so I went to loads, but one I missed was the one, sadly, that James could make. So it must have been that one. But
it was that one.
I was there for the on live one.
The on live one, I will always remember for looking to find where Michael was, and he was constantly queuing up for another on live. He got about 8 of them.
What for? That's what I love about that.
He kept coming up to me and saying,
whatsoever.
Dave, can you sign up to this so I can get the free gift? So I was signing up to all sorts of shit just so you could get free cards for some game or some shit. I don't know.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I know, people say, you can tell you've all been mates for ages, but that's also the reason why I'd be terrified to add anyone new to the show for any reason. This really is it.
Yeah.
I don't think It could ever change at this point.
Yeah, a lot of people have said, I've noticed that the guest slots have sort of dried up, and part of that is because where we're at with the show at the moment, it's going to be pretty awkward when we're all ripping into James for someone to just be sitting there.
Does he mind? Is this what they do? Is it?
Although we're all ripping into him, and that person's like, "Yeah, James, you are welcome."
I was like, "Whoa, hey,
steady on, you twat! Get off the show now."
Yeah, it's like someone's like you slagging off your hometown constantly, but if someone else does it,
how dare you?
Actually, Faulkner's all right. Now shut up.
Yeah.
I've never been. I thought it was quite touristy, is it not?
I mean, well, it's got a Butlins.
Oh, well, there you go.
And there's a beach, and it's like hour and a half, 2 hours from London. So it's touristy in as much as people might get go out.
I suppose,
and I
weekend touristy doesn't necessarily mean a nice place to actually live, does it?
I don't know. I mean, I had growing up, I had basically 1/maybe 2 pubs. And then like 2 clubs, and then one went on fire.
Just went on fire by itself.
It went on fire. I mean, I don't know anything about it. Sean, I'd we didn't ask. It went on fire, but it's home in it.
Yeah.
That I moved away from very far.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Okay.
We're done.
Matt just aged 100 years in that conversation, but
made him remember too many things, and now he's
too many memories.
Is that how
I realised how long ago the past was, and it's all just caught up with him in one go.
Yeah. You do not want to see my face right now.
There is no way he was ID.
No, I was ID'd in Sainsbury's. It's Challenge 25. They probably thought, well, all I can see is like...
You've got to look 25.
Well, yeah, but I had a t-shirt with like ninja and stuff on it. It's just I had like a hat on and maybe my glasses and a mask, and I had my Electric skateboard with me. Like, who's this hip 23-year-old? They're just doing their job, Dave. I mean, what can I say?
All right, okay. Well, that's it for this week. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and if you're interested in Tell Me Why, then we will be doing a spoiler cast this week. We're hoping to get the bonus show out a little bit early. Oh no, shit!
No,
Matt, socials.
Yeah. Well, why are you closing the show off? The show hasn't ended yet. Still rude. Got this very important section of the. Very rude, actually.
If we're getting rid of, can we keep the form and get rid of this bit? That's what I reckon.
But then no one watch our streams. How do you expect? I mean, do you like that money from Twitch?
Already.
You get notifications. It's fine.
No, only if you set them.
Matt is like one of those emails that you get and you go, I must unsubscribe to this at some point. I won't right now, but I will unsubscribe to this one.
I could, but I mean, do you like getting the Twitch money every month, or do you not want any?
I think that's more down to my own talent than it is you reading out when you're twitching, to be honest with you.
Twitching?
Is that what they call it?
No.
They should do. I'm twitching tonight, guys.
I Twitch most nights, actually. Right, Friday at 9, James is back with a Nomad Soul. He's back on his Friday night slot. That Saturday was just because, we're doing all sorts, weren't we? So Friday night at 9, Nomad Soul with James. I'm back for Spelunky Sunday night at 8. And Tuesday at 9, it's Play by the Bell. I think this week should be a bit more normal than it has been recently.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So that should be the schedule. Twitch Prime Gaming is what it's now known. It was what was it called? Prime.
So now it's just Prime Gaming. Yeah, so it was Twitch Prime. Now it's just Prime Gaming.
Anyway, if you've got Amazon Prime, you've got you get 1 free sub if you connect your accounts, and we massively appreciate it. So go over to watch our streams, do it when we're doing a stream, you get a nice little shout out. Or Patreon, of course, patreon.com/TCGS. You get a monthly bonus podcast you can't hear anywhere else, and we go into all sorts of shit on that. You wouldn't believe it.
Can we just reiterate, because I know we've talked about this loads. We're still getting people signing up to the Patreon like right near the end of the month, which we really appreciate. But you will get charged again on the 1st of the month.
Yeah, I feel really bad. Like, I know when you sign up for Patreon, it says you're getting charged now and you'll get charged on this date. But some people still, which is lovely of them, of course, like support us on like the last day of the month. And I want to say, don't do that. Just wait another day. Anyway, we obviously massively appreciate it, but also read the terms and conditions as much as you can. $5 tier gets you the podcast. $10 tier gets you. You can watch In the Cuisining or other Twitch stuff. YouTube stuff we might do live. Well worth watching, and also you can watch the previous episodes of In the Cuisining as well, a month before they go public on YouTube. And it's tcgs.co, which is the website for everything else.
Okay, well, thank you so much for living it, and we will catch you next week with some more gaming chit-chat. Say goodbye, everyone. Say goodbye. Say goodbye.
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 Goodbye.